Welcome everyone to the first Softlock podcast of 2025. I'm a gamer, Jake, and joining me is another gamer, Jonathan. And today we're going to be talking about our games of the year for 2024. It's a big episode. Last year, our Games of the Year 2023 episode was probably the favorite of the group, for me at least. I enjoy looking back at a year of games and kind of comparing and contrasting them. So this is just one big romp where we get to talk about all the games we played, re-review some stuff, and have a good old time. Jonathan, are you excited? How you feeling? What's going on?
This is not my favorite episode of the year because I have to think about all the hours I spent doing this instead of like practicing an instrument.
But to say that you're able to play Dark Souls 3 in 10 hours is kind of the same as saying that you can play like Moonlight Sonata or whatever, right?
Yeah, I like the way you think.
Right. I think it's just as impressive,
and I can
if not
get
more.
$1 million when I stream it.
Well, I don't know about all that, but
I can. I will.
Keep up the positive thinking. Manifest it. I believe you.
I will. Thanks.
So, if you watched our episode last year, you'll remember that we did a little bit of list and a little bit of award. We're doing the same thing this year. We parsed it down a little bit. So we're going to start off with our top 5 list of games from 2024. Moving on to top 5 games from the backlog that we played in 2024, which most of them we'll have already talked about on the podcast, but it's a good chance to review and compare some of them. And then we'll move into our yearbook of 2024, where we give awards to specific games as if they were in our yearbook. Now, just before we started recording, me and Jonathan kind of found out that some funny shenanigans are going on here. So, we're still going to do the episode as planned, but it might just be a little bit finicky at times because Jonathan didn't play any games that came out in 2024. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't really know how that happened, to be honest with you.
Saving money.
No. I purchased many games that were released this year. Actually, I purchased almost every game that was interesting to me. I just simply did not play them. Like I have like Metaphor. I have Silent Hill 2. I have Space Marine 2. I got what other games were released this year? Dragon's Dogma 2. All that shit. I got so many games that were released this year. Simply didn't play them.
Well, maybe we have to have a talk about your wallet then. But I do the same. I have so many games on my shelf that came out this year that I haven't tried. But I did try to plow through at least a few of them for today. So we're going to talk about them. Jonathan did play some games that came out this year.
I played a couple. I played literally 3. So my best of 2024 is not going to be necessarily good. It's just going to be the best of.
By definition, the best that you played that came out in the year.
There's only 3 options.
So if you don't mind, I'll just start off with my 5 and 4 to get them out of the way so that we're not taking 9 years. And then we'll go back and forth. Okay. So my number 5 for 2024 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And it's honestly just as impressive to me as I'm sure it is to you that it even made the list. Because as much as I love this game, it's got a lot of problems. It's a very flawed game, but I just can't deny that I really loved it and I really want to play it again.
The Final Fantasy VII infection is real.
It is. It's got like an aura that you cannot deny.
Even
unless you're
the worst
Jonathan.
Final Fantasy VII games are beloved by everyone.
I mean, I went to the concert yesterday for the soundtrack for this game.
Just for Final Fantasy VII. Just
for Rebirth.
Just for 7 Rebirth. Insanity.
Yeah, not even for Remake, not even for the original. It was just the Rebirth soundtrack, and I had a great time.
I'm so close to replaying 7. I'm very close. I just started replaying 6 the other day. Not replaying. I just started playing 6 for the first time the other day, and so I'm one step closer to 7. to see if my mind will be changed. But you seem to have succumbed to the infection. You have played Rebirth, and it's on your list, even though you don't really want it to be on your list, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game that I love. It's kind of bad. And Jonathan, I'm just going to tell you now, you should not play Rebirth. You, as a person, should not play Rebirth because you didn't love Remake like it was the second coming of Christ, like I did.
Right.
And if you didn't love Remake, you're not going to like Rebirth at all. Because the combat system is pretty much the thing that kept me going through the whole thing, because I think the combat system in the Final Fantasy VII Remake series is the best combat in any game. And if you're not into that, you shouldn't play the game.
I mean, I thought the combat was fine. I thought it was pretty good.
But that's the thing, is you think it's fine. I'm telling you, to me, it is literally
much.
The best. It is unbeatable. I've never played another game.
I don't really remember much about it, to be honest with you.
And that is mind-blowing to me because it is revolutionary. It is so good.
Elaborate on that. What do you mean it's revolutionary?
It is layers upon layers of action and tactical combat at the same time. It takes things from games that I love, like Xenoblade, that have tons of tactical layers that just keep going and going until everything combos off of each other, while also taking things from the turn-based Final Fantasy games and from the action games like Final Fantasy 15, and just blends it all together with some elements from 13 with the stagger meter and typing differences to take down certain enemies. It's just every single thing in that game works so well together to sing that even in Rebirth, I played Rebirth for 100 hours. I fought so many just bullshit little enemies, and every time I saw an enemy, I went out of my way to fight them because I just love fighting in that game.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it kind of, I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't played it in a while, and even when I did play it, I was kind of in a weird spot, so it's just like, yo, Cloud. So I feel like, I mean, when I think about it, it kind of reminds me of Armored Core.
Elaborate,
and I know that's
please.
because there's a stagger meter. Game with stagger meter and health bar, but there's no they have the materia system in that game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just don't give a fuck about the materia system. I do not like it. I didn't like it in the original. I don't really care for it. I didn't really care for it in Remake. I just don't get it. I don't like the materia system, but I guess you're not really talking about the materia system, are you?
I mean, not necessarily. In Remake, I can agree that the materia system did kind of hold things back a bit more than it helped, but in Rebirth, they did a lot to expand it out and make changes, so it's not nearly as encumbering as it used to be, I would say.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I just that's the real thing, like, holding me back. Like it's I remember it being good. I liked playing as Barrett. Well, that's the only
Barrett's
really
still fun.
Yeah, well, you can only play as 4 characters in the remake, right?
Three at a time.
Well, yeah, but like there's 4 total. Like you have.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can play as Cloud,
yeah.
Tifa, Barrett, and Aerith.
Yeah. Now they have
how many is it
Yuffie,
now?
Yuffie and Kate Sith as well. So 2 more.
Oh, they didn't get a Red 13.
Oh yeah, sorry, forgot about it. Well, because he was in Remake, but you didn't play as him. So yeah, you can also play it. So 3 more.
What about Vincent?
No, Sid and Vincent, I'd imagine, will be playable in the 3rd game.
Isn't Vincent in Remake? I mean, Rebirth?
Yeah, they changed some things around to kind of get the band back together in this one, so that in the next one they can just go off, I guess.
Is Sid in Rebirth?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's all those characters, people have loved them for years. This game is a game about good combat and fun slice of life character moments. That's it. The plot, nothing happens in the plot interesting, nothing good happens in the plot, nothing fun happens with the mini games. But the combat is great and the characters are great, and for me that was enough to make it my number 5.
You know what my fucking problem was with Remake, now that I think about it? My problem with Remake is that it was very structured. It was very, very linear. And when RPGs do that, that's fine, but I don't remember a single place. There wasn't any type of like open field to just like walk around and like grind in. It was like very structured, thin corridors or like buildings you enter. No like dungeons, no not a lot of optional content besides like side quests where you go to the same area and like fight some new thing or go to like a new arena or something like that. There wasn't a lot of exploration and discovery to be made, I think, was my problem with Remake. Like, and I really like that in RPGs because I do remember the combat being very good, but it was kind of inhibited to me because I didn't feel like I could like go out, and it felt like I had a limited amount of experience and like things to do to like level up and gear up and stuff like that, you know?
Well, boy, do I have a game for you.
I've heard Rebirth is open world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I might like Rebirth more than Remake.
You don't like open world games though. This is not an open zone situation. This is a full open world, and it's a lot.
I mean, I like open worlds. I like open worlds when they're not like really boring and like shoehorned in.
Well, that's what this is. This is a Ubisoft game. This is just 100% a Ubisoft game. This is a Horizon Zero Dawn game. This is not a Breath of the Wild. This is not an Elden Ring.
That's kind of a bummer.
And so that's a lot where my qualms lie, but I still did all of it. Like, I did all the open world stuff, and it was just fun enough. And for a lot of people, me included, I guess, that's enough, is to just have something to do in between. And, I put on a podcast, had a good time. It wasn't like it was, like, it didn't make me mad. It was just content.
You know, that actually isn't the worst thing in the world. I actually probably would have maybe preferred... that's the type of thing that I could sit down and just, like, have fun with, even if it's not generally, like, the highest quality content. Like, Ubisoft Open Worlds, just like, okay, I consume now. You know, instead of, like, trying to get into another open world game where they're like, this game has 200 hours of, like, where you just learn about, like, the world and how to traverse it. Like, that's a bit much for me sometimes. Sometimes I can only handle so much in a video game. And as you've seen with, like, Astrobot taking Game of the Year, I think some gamers just need simplicity occasionally. So I'm not super against Final Fantasy VII Rebirth having, like, a Ubisoft open world. I'm not exactly for it either, but I'm just like, all right, okay.
Yeah, it was fine to just, diddle around in it for a while between quests. Nothing crazy.
I might just wait until the finale is released, and then when inevitably there's a trilogy pack released for the PlayStation 6 in 70 years. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I got a lot to get through on my backlog, and I'm not like busting out my wallet to play the sequel to a game that I was like, I still gotta play Crisis Core, man.
You don't.
I have to. I must. And I will. I
don't. You shouldn't. I'm telling you, you shouldn't. Take my advice.
I'm gonna.
Okay. I guess I can't stop you.
Because, yeah. No, I don't have a reason. I'm just gonna. I decided I'm gonna. And I have Stranger of Paradise. I got a lot of Final Fantasy to get through.
That's one I want to touch.
I still have to play through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 2. Not 12.
You're not playing 11.
I'm playing 11. I have 11. Wait, no, not 11. I'm sorry. I was thinking. Yeah, no, wait. 6,
11
9.
is the online one.
Yeah. 10, 10, 2, 12. Not playing the 13 trilogy. 15, 16. Whoa, I got all of those games to play. I'm not playing fucking 14. I'm not playing 14.
Play 14
I'm not
with
playing
me.
14 with you. No. I can't.
Come on,
I can't do an MMO. I can't. We can barely get together sometimes to play Call of Duty.
Come on.
You tell me we're going to hop on Realm Reborn? 5,000 hours of content?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
When's the last time you played that?
It was a couple months ago. Like 5 months ago.
I need to get through all of that Final Fantasy. But plus, like, what if I get to the end of my Final Fantasy journey? I'm like, man, this series sucks dick. I might. You never know.
Full franchise of anything in that short amount of time will probably do that to anyone.
I don't know, man. Mario got me acting funny. I can hang out with that guy all day.
Mario's a legendary, though.
Mario is legendary.
And my number 4
Okay. Yes, move
is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. I love
that's
me
not
some
a
Elden
game.
Ring.
That's a DLC.
It's a 40-hour fucking thing that people made and put out for money. It's allowed to be on my list.
I know. I don't actually care.
I know. But no, I loved it. I mean, what can you say? It is more Elden Ring, and I really like Elden Ring. It's not my favorite bit, which a lot of the FromSoft DLC has the reputation of being the best of the game. I don't think Shadow of the Erd Tree is that for Elden Ring, but it is pretty damn good. It's pretty close.
You just gotta play it again, and then you'll change your mind.
You're probably right. Well, you're probably right, but I did play almost the entire expansion a second time. I got probably 3/4. Honestly, you're right. I probably will end up falling in love with it.
I'm playing through Demon Souls again, and it still sucks just as much as it did the first time.
But just as much, or just a little bit less?
Just as much.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the biggest Elden Ring fan. You're not the hottest on it, right? I mean, I kind of forget where your allegiance lies on Elden Ring.
I don't think Elden Ring is a perfect game. It's close, but I don't think any FromSoft game is perfect, except for maybe Sekiro. I think every FromSoft game has a outstanding ability to tack on the same bullshit every time in different ways. You know, you always have the FromSoft bullshit, and it's really fucking annoying. But I do think that a big reason why I was kind of turned off at Elden Ring just a smidge was because I needed to get good, and I was a little impatient. So I'm very excited to play through it again with the DLC in mind. I think I'm going to play through the entire Souls series again, starting with Demon Souls. So once I get through that, I go play Dark Souls 2, 3, maybe Bloodborne a different time, and then Elden Ring.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see what you think of the DLC when you get there, but my favorite part of Elden Ring was the exploration. I think that's a lot of people's favorite part, and the reason why the game did so wildly successful compared to some of the other Souls games is just there's so much shit packed into that open world, and you don't need a guide, you don't need a map. You just walk, and you see something in the distance, you go there, and it's a unique gameplay moment that you can't find anywhere else. Great combat, great bosses. The DLC is just more of that. More area to explore, more great bosses, new weapon types that are relatively interesting, new spells. None of it is better than anything you've played before, but the stuff I had already played was so good, and this is on par with that. So it's great. It's got really good bosses, really good map.
Is there dungeons though?
Really good dungeons.
That's my favorite part of the game.
It's got new dungeons.
Hell yeah.
There was the catacomb type dungeons in Elden Ring, right? That are all kind of the same but have different layout.
Yeah.
Now there's lava dungeons that all they don't just look different, they have different types of enemies and different types of puzzles. There's I think a prison type or an ice type. It's kind of I'm a little hazy on. I played at the beginning of the year, but yeah, there's lots of different types of dungeons now, and they all feel very dynamic and different. A lot of places to just go and have a small designed, tailored experience like a dungeon that are actually outside, and those are all over the place.
Good. I like that part of Elden Ring. The open world was good.
Yeah, I mean, it actually did parse down a lot of the. I mean, I wouldn't want to call anything in Elden Ring filler, because even the tombs and ruins that you find all over the place that are kind of boring, they still manage to have a decent number of them be interesting and dynamic. There's none that are the same in the DLC. Everything is vastly different, and they do a couple new things in the open world that I'd never seen before in an open world game or in a FromSoft game. So, new experiences as well. It's just a complete package. I think it's really good.
That's good, and I'm excited to actually play it. Maybe I'll bump it up Elden Ring to a 10 in my next playthrough. I doubt it, but I might.
Well, if you include the DLC in there, and it's more of the same, I don't know if that would make it better, but you might be one of those people that just end up really loving the bosses from the DLC. A lot of people seem to really like them. I thought they were good. I didn't think they were the best.
Promise Consort Rodan.
Except for that one.
I think about that frequently. I think about that probably once a week.
Apparently they made it a little easier.
It's no, my thing is that I don't think about it because it was like really difficult or whatever. I think about it because I saw so many leaks about the final boss. When the game came out, of course it was just like who's the final boss gonna be? Who's the final boss gonna be? Who's the final? And they were like, oh, it's gonna be Michaela. It's gonna be I don't know, some random fucking person. It's gonna be Marika. Like all these like really interesting ideas, and then it's just Radon again. It's really fucking funny to me.
It was really.
I know
funny.
He's different. I know I understand that he's different, and it's a different fight. But I don't think I'll ever forget the group outcry when they realized that the final boss was Radon again. Because I remember the leak came out that it was Radon again. And everyone was like, "That's stupid. They would never fucking do that. That is like the stupidest thing. They're just reusing bosses. Like that. This leak is obviously fake. This picture is obviously fake." And then it turned out to be true, and everyone's like, "Fuck! Oh man!"
I think it's extra funny because of how many people struggled with Radon their first time around. So it's like people just have a collective trauma around this character.
Yes. I mean, he is a really good boss in the original. I just think it's so fucking funny that he's back, Oh my goodness.
And that's another note, and probably the last thing I'll say on it, is that the DLC it took so long to make that it could have easily been like a greatest hits situation where they're like, all right, what did people really like about Elden Ring? Let's just do that again, but a little bit different. And there really isn't any of that. It's all new. It's fresh. They didn't just redo stuff because people liked it, and that's a risk, and I'm glad they took it.
Oh, we're getting a greatest hits very soon.
Real. I know. Maybe that's why they didn't, but
which is insane. Cannot believe they're doing that.
Looking forward to Night Rain. We'll have to.
I am as well.
Have to jump in.
But I just can't believe that they're doing that. From Software doesn't make that kind of thing. They don't just like make a product just to make a product half the time. Not to say that this is that, but it could seem like that. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just seems like let's just make this, like why not? Just like
let's just make some money.
Yeah, let's just make some fucking money, Like Elden Ring, I'm sure they're like, let's make some money, but we're gonna change the space of the world, like video gaming world. But then like Night Rain comes out, they're like, yeah, we're just having some fun. Like they don't do that. From Software doesn't have fun.
We'll see. Maybe it'll end up on the list next year.
Maybe, or maybe it'll be utter dog shit. They're waiting.
Yeah, probably will be.
They're due for a miss.
They never miss. They never miss.
They kind of miss.
All right, let me hear about your number 3, and then we'll start going back and forth.
Okay. My number 3 is not a good game, but is a game that I played this year, unfortunately. It's a game that I thought was really good at the beginning. I thought it was very promising, very excited to see where it was going to take me. And then it just like doo-doo diarrhea to poopy all over the bed. And then just left me to clean up the doo-doo diarrhea poopy on the bed. And that's Scald against the Black Priory.
Dang.
I don't know how they botched it that bad. It's like what's a game that you played where you're like, have you ever played Kid Icarus Uprising?
No, I've always wanted to.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna abandon this path of thought. In Kid Icarus Uprising, there was like 30 chapters in that game, like 30 full levels, like really well designed, like interesting, varied levels. The first 8 chapters of the game, you're fighting Medusa. Like you're like, oh, I need to go fight Medusa. Like that's the final boss, and then you kill her, and the game starts rolling the credits, and it does not indicate that like this isn't the end of the game until there's like a big plot reveal where you're like, oh, the game is actually only like 1/3 over. You still have the rest of the game. Scald is as if the game actually did end after 8 chapters in Medusa. It's like, oh, that was it? Okay. It was just such... I don't know if you can think of a game that you played where you're like, oh, is it the end? Oh, wait a minute, no. I still have so much more, and the game is actually going to get super interesting now. But that's what happened. But
That's
except
crazy.
it didn't. Yeah, it didn't happen. It's like, oh, okay, this is where the game's going to get interesting. Never happens. Never happens. Never happens. It's like they were just like, well, we just have to release it. And they did.
How long was it?
Let me check. It wasn't very long. I think I only played it for about like 20 something hours.
That's pretty long.
It's pretty long, but I play games that are longer. I play games that were much longer and felt more fulfilling than this. Where the fuck is it? Scald.
I was
There we
just
go.
wondering because like
22 hours.
22 hours. That's enough to be like a whole 3-act game and still do the twist that you're talking about.
Oh, it was like maybe 2 acts. Like there was a first act, there was a second act, and then the third act was just like, oh, we need to finish the game. We need this game needs to be released in a month. Let's just finish it. Let's just end it. It's like a game that I feel like I would have made this. I feel like I would have made this because I would have gotten like overwhelmed. I would have gotten burnt out, and I'm just like, just fucking release it. Like just release the game. This is how it ends. I've done that when I was younger. I was like writing stories, and then I just get bored. And I want the story to end, so I just poop it out.
I like to think that isn't what happened, but maybe there's just a lack of punctuality to the ending. I mean, like, was the game trending upward, or did it just kind of stall out at a certain point?
It was trending upward until literally the final dungeon of the game, which seemed like it was actually... It didn't seem like... It was not indicating that this was going to be the final dungeon of the game, or the finale of the game. And then you beat this, like, random boss that is, like, just, like, kind of underwhelming. And then, unbeknownst to you, that is the final boss. And then the next 10 minutes are you just going through this, like, scripted story segment where all your companions die. And then the game ends.
And there's no desire to do a new game plus, anything like that?
No. It's like the most dog shit ending I've ever seen in a video game before. It's actually, and I looked it up too. I was like, what the fuck was that ending? And everyone was like, yeah, it sucked. It sucked.
I don't know. I'm just wondering if it's like intended to be like not a roguelite experience, but like, you're intended for multiple playthroughs, so you don't want it to go on too long.
I don't think so. I mean, you can, because there's like a character creator, so you make like your own character, but it's not good enough to do that. It's not interesting enough to do that. It could have just been a much better game if it just actually ended itself. Because I even if like you made the ending like shit, I've played so many roguelike. There's so many roguelikes where the ending is not shit, and you also still want to like replay the game. Like they didn't have to be like, oh, it's a roguelike, you're supposed to replay it like over and over again. That's why the ending is underwhelming. Like, no, you can still have a good ending, and I can play through it again. You're not playing through like the Dark Souls games. I've replayed from the start like over and over again, and I'm never like, they don't just like shit the bed on the ending, except for kind of like 2. 2 is kind of whatever.
Well, are you at least like interested in what this team's gonna do next? Like, was the combat interesting enough that you want more game like this, or are you just kind of done? You're done? I'm
done with it. I'm very disappointed in it. I thought that the combat while interesting at first, was very clunky. It definitely favored certain things too much. It's a tactical RPG, but they made the enemies really, really fucking durable for some reason. And basically, if you don't use like the characters that can do like massive damage, like any character that can't do massive damage, which is more than half of them, are severely underpowered. And then all the characters who can do massive damage like in one turn are basically your goats, and like you need them essentially. Even like support classes, like there's characters that were like cleric, they do like no fucking damage. Their survivability is like fine, and like the one thing they can do, they run out of mana like so quickly that it's like, well, I don't even want to use you. Like what am I supposed to do with you, really? So it's like not even really that fun to play. It's kind of like annoying, because then like your rogue gets like killed immediately, and then you're like, okay, I guess I have to whittle this thing's health down 5 health points at a time, and it has 100 health, and like that's just what you're doing for the next 3 minutes. There's many instances like that. Like, and also if you don't have the weakness for an enemy, and this game isn't like built upon like, doesn't have the freedom for you to switch around builds like willy-nilly and be like, oh, okay, my characters don't have this weakness, let me get that. That is not how it works. And it's even worse if you actually do have a character who is able to target a weakness, because it's not like, oh, it's easier if you fight it with a weakness. It's like, no, you're supposed to fight some of these enemies using their weakness. If you don't, you're doing genuinely like 1 damage, and they have 60 plus health. And that's just how you have to play through the game. And then your character dies, who is the only person who is able to target their weakness. And then you're just like, well, there's many times where I've just like turned off the game and just restarted or just loaded a save, because I was like, well, this is going to be faster and more convenient for me than to try to whittle away the health slowly.
Damn, sounds like you really like this game enough to put it on your top 5 list.
Yeah, it's top 3 on my games this year.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it sucks.
Damn.
I'm very upset with them. I really, that's the thing. It's not that it was really that bad in the very beginning, but it just never got better. It was like, you know, I think I can be put through a lot of mildly annoying things in video games at the start, because there's a possibility and kind of like an untold agreement, I think, where things will get better. When you play a game, usually you can imagine that the game is going to get better over time. But it doesn't. It does not.
Damn.
Yep.
Sad.
So that's
Just
the
sad.
game. That's the game.
Let me look to my list. What is my number 3? My number 3 is a game that got exponentially better as time went on.
Must be nice.
Number 3 is Astrobot.
Oh,
And it was very nice. Thank you.
the game of the year.
The game of the year is my number 3 game of the year. I am not upset that it was awarded game of the year. I think it does deserve it in a lot of rights. Astrobot is a game about fun, and it's a game about happiness. It's a game about just playing games. And sometimes that's what people want. For me, I loved every second of it. Whenever I was playing Astrobot, I was gaming. That was the definition of gaming for me. It is
Now,
like 8
what
hours.
what sets Astrobot apart from Sackboy's Big Adventure?
Sackboy's Big Adventure is the definition of not gaming. Sackboy's
Elaborate
Big
on that.
Adventure is a walking game with jumping in it. Astrobot is a video game about playing video games with jumping in it as well. It is a jumping game that does the jumping so well that it is a transcendent experience.
That is a crazy phrase to use.
You play Astrobot for 10 seconds and you just get it. It's polished to the point that every single inch, every level, every jump, every platform, every ability, literally every single thing that they shove into this game is made to make you smile. No matter what age you are, no matter if your heart is cold and made of stone, you pick up that controller and watch this little robot turn into a mouse, and you feel it vibrate the controller as you shrink down to this tiny little mouse man and run through the hole of a cheese, and on the inside of the cheese are little mice men that you get to hit, and they go and then squeak away. You just can't dislike this game. I'm convinced. No matter who you are, I think Astrobot is a great recommendation. It is a very, very, very fun 3D platformer to its core.
Astrobot fans when the Jonathan walks into the room.
I don't think you could hate Astrobot. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun. I thought Ash's Playroom was good.
Astro's Playroom succeeded in being a great tech demo with surprisingly good level design and game design. Mm-hmm. Astrobot it still has a little bit of that tech demo-ness, but they really just went all in on, we're Team Asobi, we're from Japan Studio, we've been around forever, we have some of the most talented level designers in the industry. Let's just go all out on one game. And they did it. There's not a single bad level in the game. There's one underwater level that is not to my preference, but even playing it, I can see that this is better than other underwater levels from similar games.
I see. That makes it good.
It makes it good by comparison, when your only other option is to compare it to 3D Mario, which is historically terrible underwater levels. Yeah, it's good.
Don't lie to me.
You tell me that those underwater levels in Mario Galaxy are good? No.
I actually don't remember those that much. However, never mind. I was gonna say fucking Mario Odyssey had like great underwater level. It wasn't that good. It was fine.
No, it wasn't. But the Astrobot, every level is good. There's not a bad level. They added a new level for Christmas, and it's the best level in the game. They are just so creative over there, and playing the game just makes you smile, and that's all I needed from it, and it delivered.
That's nice. That's. I'm glad you're so happy about Balatro being robbed from the Game Awards.
Balatro makes me smile, but it also makes me want to shit my pants sometimes. Astrobot never made me feel that way.
See, this is where it separates us as gamers. I like the shit in my pants when I'm gaming. If shit's in my pants, I mean, it's a good thing.
I'm not opposed to a little bit of poop. I like a little quarter pound of poop in my pants every once in a while.
You give me some poop.
But sometimes you're not in the mood for poop, and Astrobot came through when I was in that mood. I was in the dumps and I played this game, and it made me so happy. That's enough to show that this game, it's got a power, it's got an energy. It's worth playing.
You're not in the mood for poop all the time.
No, because I'm not a little freak like you.
I should...
What's your number 2?
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, let's move on. I am happy that Astrobot has made it to your list. It's not on my list, though. It's not on my list of games to get, and I feel like it should be.
It really should be. I do think you'll like it.
You know what? I'll put it on right now. I'm going to type in the words right now. Let me... Okay.
It's also a slightly cheaper game. It's ASS. TROBUTT.
Astrobot. Hey!
For my poop lovers out there.
For the poop lovers. You said it's cheaper? How much is it?
I think it's a $50 game. Maybe,
yeah, that's all right.
Maybe 60, which is, you save $10 or whatever. But it does go on sale pretty frequently as well.
That's pretty good. Anyway, now it's my turn. Thanks. My number 2 is Slice and Dice.
Slice and Dice.
Slice and Dice, yes. Remember that game?
Was that game in early access for a while? Did it officially come out?
It was. It did come out. It came out a couple of months ago, I believe. It's and I actually like it so much. I have it on my computer. I have it on my phone. And I don't play games on my phone. Yes, I do not play games on my phone. Little known fact about me, I don't do that. However, Slice and Dice, I make an exception because it is that easy to play. It is just... I mean, Do you remember any of what I've told you about it in the past?
Yeah, I've looked at Slice and Dice a lot. I'm gonna play it one day.
I suggest it to anyone who just needs something to pass time for themselves, like on long commutes or during periods where you're just sitting around doing nothing, like waiting for something to happen. That's what you should do, because like you're not playing games on your Switch. That could be rude. Playing a little game on your phone where you're just like rolling dice. That's based. That's very based.
Very based indeed.
Very based indeed. Hold on, I just want to check when this game got released. I just want to make sure that it was released in... Yeah, it was released in March 20th, 2024. And while this isn't the best game I've ever played, I don't think I even rated it above a 7. It is perfect for just vibing, zoning out, vibing, and doing some roguelike shenanigans. It's very consistent too. Basically, every run I've done is like 50 minutes, assuming you get to the end. And there's not a lot to think about. It's just a game you play. Like, it is gaming. It is gaming.
And what exactly are you doing, like, moment to moment?
Okay, yes, let me explain that. I should have explained that. So you have a team of 5. It's a roguelike RPG, turn-based RPG, based on dice. So you have 5 heroes that you have, and then they all have dice. Every side is a different action with different levels of strength or effects. You roll those dice. Wherever the dice lands, that is the action that you have for that turn, for that character. You use them against the enemies. The enemies have do the exact same thing, where they have their own dice and their own abilities, their own special abilities. They roll their dice and then they attack, and that's the game. You just do that over and over and over again until you lose or you win. And it's great because there is a lot of variety with each hero. It's all randomly generated, so there's not like, oh, I'm going to go after this build and I'm going to win because I know it's going to win. You probably won't even get it, you know? Like, you will probably experience everything you can in this game just by playing it over and over again, because the game will eventually, like, just give it to you. Instead of, like, you know, when you play Binding of Isaac, you could just play Isaac, and that's it. You can never experience any other character. Slice and Dice, you will experience the whole game. You do not have a choice for what's happening, basically.
And for 50 minutes, these runs aren't getting boring or anything? Does it have like a good ramp or is it like...
It does. It does. So there's 20 rounds, 20 levels, right? Every time you finish a level, you either level up or you get an item, and they fluctuate. So it's like, first round, you level up. Second round, item. Level up, item. Level up, item. Level up, item. And basically, every time you level up, your tier 1 hero, you get to choose a tier 1 hero to level up into a tier 2 hero. And then that is a stronger hero with completely new abilities. Then you can do that again for 3rd tier later. And that alone, like, upgrading your hero, can change the entire relationship you have with your entire team. Like, you can go about combat encounters completely differently just by one person changing. And the same thing with the items you get. The items can be as simple as +3 health, or they can be like weird to be like, oh, take the middle pip, or take the middle side of your dice and put it on the far right side instead. It could be stuff like that. It can be like, take any pips. Pips is like how strong a certain thing will be. So if you have a blade icon, if you have an attack that has 2 pips, it does 2 damage. So it's like, oh, okay, this item, every time you attack with like 2 pips or 3 pips, you get 1 mana and shit like that. So it'll be like crazy effects like that. Some of the items are stinky doo-doo garbage. Some of the items are amazing. There is a classification of items. There's 0 tier items, and they are genuinely worthless, and it's hilarious. There's one where it's like, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's like, this item gives you +1 to any yellow colored hero. So the yellow class hero. So there's like they're color coordinated. So the yellow is like, you know, the warrior type, like archetype class. So it's like, oh, okay, this item gives +1 pip to all sides to yellow heroes, but the stipulation is that they can only be equipped to gray heroes. So it's like, it's a fucking worthless item. So there's plenty of stuff like that. It's just fun. It's just fun to just go through. Sometimes you just get fucked though with the RNG, because you are just literally rolling dice and there's not much you can do to, you can like, you know, put them in your favor as much as possible, but at the end of the day, you are just rolling dice, and eventually you will just get fucked. But yeah, it's just a good time. It is a great time.
It looks fun. I mean, I can see why it would be a great thing to just waste time. Do you find yourself finishing runs usually, or do you just kind of like play for a while and then when you put it away and never come back to it?
I rarely don't finish a run. Like when I start playing, I'm usually in it. It's very addicting run to run. It can be, it does suffer from like something like, I don't know, Gungeon or Isaac, where when you reset, like, you know, when you have a god run where you're just destroying everything, it's hard to start a run over again because then you're just so like underpowered all of a sudden. And I think it has that issue. But when I'm playing a run and it's going well, which is most of the time runs go like decently well. There very rarely do you have a run where you're just like, I'm going to lose. Like I know 5 rounds ahead of time that I'm going to lose. Usually you losing is a surprise. So I usually I see it through to the end. And it's just a lot of fun because the rounds are so quick. The animations are very like snappy and just fun to look at. The sound effects are minimal but interesting. There's a very good like snap effect anytime you select anything. It's just good. It's good. So I do play through almost every run that I can to the end. But I don't like, it's not like a start my new run. You know, you finish a run, you're like, oh yeah, I'll take a break for a little bit.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I also love games you can play vertically on the phone.
Yes, you can play vertically or you can play horizontally. Yes.
All right.
I suggest it to anyone who's on their phone and is upset about Marvel Snap.
Good replacement for Marvel Snap.
Good replacement for Marvel Snap.
Kind of forgot that was gone. But
yeah.
It'll be back.
It'll be
so
back.
Give them Slice and Dice now. Give them some love.
Yeah, it is a one-time purchase though, of like $6, something like that, if you want the full game. But the demo gets you through like stages 1 through 15. So I feel like if you play through like 1 to 15 and you're not like, oh, this would be fun for me, then maybe skip it. But I feel like most people can play Slice and Dice and be like, this is good enough that I'll drop less than $10 on.
Yeah, one-time purchase on mobile is a big selling point for me, actually, because I just don't want to deal with all the free-to-play shenanigans.
No currency, no free-to-play nonsense, no nothing. You just get the game. You just get the whole ass game.
Love that.
Yep. All right.
Moving
Your
on.
turn.
My number 2 is Persona 3 Reload. Now, I have not finished this game.
This guy loves anime.
It's a little
so much.
What other? I did a Final Fantasy on here. You're right.
What was it? I don't remember what 4 was. Say 4 again.
4 was
Astrobot.
Erdtree. 3 was Astrobot.
3 was Astrobot. Okay. Yeah. No. Never mind. I just wanted to be a jerk.
But 2 is anime. You're right, and I love it because Persona 3 Reload. It makes me feel things, man. This game means something to me. I haven't finished it, which is a bit blasphemous to put it on my Game of the Year list. And I kind of went back and forth on it. I was like, you know, I really shouldn't put this on here. I haven't finished it. It could shit the bed in the end, just like the original Persona 3. But I just can't deny that in the year of 2024, the most fun I had in a game was in Persona 3 Reload. Like,
doing what?
Just playing it. It makes me feel so good. It's so just nostalgic, even though I only just recently played the game, but it's more nostalgia for that feeling of just playing a good RPG cuddled up on the couch when you were younger. I don't know, it gives me that feeling. I get to play it with my girlfriend Sam, so it's a nice, fun thing that I get to do in a group. It's not just me. The game is gorgeous. The music is excellent. The gameplay is so much better. So unbelievably good compared to Persona 3 Portable. And I loved that game. And it just takes all the best parts of Persona 3. This is, I've only played half of FES, if that, probably like a quarter. But really, I think this is the definitive way to play Persona 3. It's just great. And yes, I have more to get through, but I know what's going to happen. So the story, notwithstanding the gameplay, we'll see. But I just love it. I love this game. I played it for almost 90 hours. If I can't say that I like a game after 90 hours, then I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
You gotta play Persona 4. You gotta jump on that shit.
I know, I will, but I'm gonna finish this first. We also have the episode I guess to play through, the answer. So.
Oh man, I forgot about that one.
Which I've never played the answer, so that'll be new. But
I don't even think I'm gonna get it actually when I play Persona 3 Reload. I don't think I'm gonna get the answer. I'm not very interested in it.
I'm not super interested in it, but people, it got good reviews. They said they made some changes to it to make it a little more palatable, and it's also a perk on Game Pass Ultimate, so I just had to pay like a little bit extra, and I get to keep it forever. So, it was cheap.
I just don't like DLCs that reset your shit. I'm like, man, I work so hard to get all that, and now it's gone.
Yeah, it is nice to be like just a little side game sometimes, though. You don't really feel like if I come back to it a long time from now, I don't have to remember what my builds were and like get back into the flow. I can just jump into a new experience. So.
Yeah, just consider it a standalone.
But yeah, Persona 3 Reload, it is really, really good. I mean, Jonathan, obviously I recommend it to you as someone who played Persona 3. I think the characters and story...
That's another game I purchased and didn't play. Yes, Reload. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Yes, I do own 3 Reload. Haven't played it.
Yeah, I put that on the list because even though I had just gone through 3, it just feels so fresh, and all the new stuff they added is noticeable and positive, and all the old stuff is still just as good as it was before, if not better. And they made Tartarus fun, so can't beat that.
I kind of had fun with old Tartarus.
Had a little.
I know it wasn't that good, but there was something about it where I was like, I just vegged the fuck out. I was like, that's another form of gaming. Another form of gaming is just like dungeon crawling and leveling up your shit, and you're just like, yes, I am video gaming. Nothing is stopping me, but I'm just boosting my characters. That is an era of video gaming that we've lost. Extensive grinding. Run up Diablo 2 and just like do nothing all day. You're just killing things, and like I've leveled up 20 levels today. Did you do any side quests? No. Did you do any main quests? No. Just leveled up my shit.
But they leaned into that though in a way that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, where they didn't add new stuff to the combat or to the walking around that makes that grind more fun. They added mechanics to like the overall systems of the game that encourage you to grind and make it not unbearable and give you something to always work towards, even if you're not doing those side quests or not doing those main quests. Like, you go into Tartarus for just a couple hours to grind, but you constantly have something to chase, something to do. So it's just an additional layer of fun and complexity to the grind. So you can still veg out and not think about it too much, but you're like getting even more positive reinforcement from it.
Did they take out that stupid shit where if the protagonist dies, the game ends?
No.
0 out of 10, not playing it, returning it. It's over.
I do think they may have added some stuff to the enemy AI to make them not target the main character as much, because I really haven't experienced that a lot, which I don't know how I feel about that. But no, that is still very much in the game.
Honestly, I didn't really have that much of a... Yes, which is annoying. I didn't have that much of a trouble with it in Persona 3 Reload because I went out of my way to make sure that would never happen, and it still did.
And even more than in other Atlas games, your main character gets super overpowered in this one. Like, my main character is probably like 6 or 7 levels higher than the next party member down.
Fucking Earthbound type shit. Earthbound?
Mm-hmm.
Have you played Earthbound?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, once you get through finish Magic Can't, you're just like 20 levels above.
Yep.
And super overpowered. That's so funny to me.
Yeah, Persona 3 Reload, big recommend.
Okay.
It is a long game, but it
Very cool.
You know, and the visuals looks
Yes.
real good.
Okay. I'm excited to play through it after I play through 4.
And then we get 4 rerun.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, you think that's going to happen? Is that what companies are doing now? They get one good remake and then they're like, all right, we got to make the rest.
I don't know if it'll be the next thing they make, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Resident Evil's doing it to the point where it's like, that's its own franchise at this point. That is the franchise at this point.
Yep.
And now I'm like, oh, are they going to remake Silent Hill 3 now? Like, I don't know. We don't know.
We will see.
We
but now
will
it's
see.
the moment of truth.
Let's say our game of the year at the same time.
It'll be so cute.
It will be so cute. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2,
Balatro!
1. Balatro! Yeah, it's Balatro. Come on.
Was there any doubt in anyone's mind that we were going to put Balatro as number 1?
Yes. No. I don't know why I said yes. But my question to you, I don't think we have to talk much about Balatro. I don't even think, we probably don't even have to talk about Balatro at all. We should just put up the hyperlink to the Balatro episode. Because I don't know what else we
The
can say.
Balatro episodes.
Balatro episode, yes, because we talked so much about it. You can watch the Game of the Year award show, and Jake fucking convinced me throughout the show that it was going to be Balatro for Game of the Year. And I knew it wasn't going to be picked because just the nature of the game. And I just can't fucking believe he convinced me and made me think that there's a chance in hell that it could have been picked. Because that's how much we love Balatro.
I weaseled my way in.
He did. He got into my skull, and we were on something that night. Fucking Half-Life 3. What were we thinking? What were we thinking?
One day.
Yes. But my question to you is Balatro your overall game of the year, not including all the games that you replayed or games that you played for the first time that were not released in 2024?
No.
Ooh.
It is not. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever have a game of the year that isn't Portal 2. The day that happens, I'll just like spontaneously combust.
Is that your game of the year this year, Portal 2?
I mean, you're saying the games that I replayed and like games from my backlog? Yeah, Portal 2 is always going to be my game of the year if that's what we're doing.
Okay. Is Balatro going to be the number 1 on the next list that we're going to talk about?
No. The next list, I only did games from my backlog that did not come out in 2024. If I were to take every game I played this year and distill it down to one list, Balatro's probably in, number 3, number 4 maybe, but that doesn't mean that it isn't an excellent game.
Yes. Are we going to see 3 to 1 in the next list?
Probably not. I replay a lot of games every year, and I just love them so much. I'm a person who knows what I like, and I go back and play those a lot. Either way, Balatro is going to be one of those games.
So in terms of new games that you played this year, Balatro's number 1?
I think so, yeah. In terms of games I played for the first time this year, Balatro is number 1. And in terms of new games, it is by far number 1.
Very, very impressive. Good on you, Balatro.
And I just want to say, I was playing Balatro just today. And I fell even more in love with it today than I have before. Every time I play Balatro, I learn something new that makes me love it even more. I feel like you feel the same way.
It's like seeing an old friend again. It's like when you leave, you're like, all right, see ya. Like you're not too upset when you leave. You don't leave in anger. You don't get burnt out. You're like, all right, I'll catch you later, man. And then you hang out with him just a week or so later, and it's great. It's great.
It's great.
Good friend. Yes.
And it's like, we've talked at length about it being near perfect. I get frustrated with the game sometimes, and then I realize that I just need to change the way I think about things. It's a problem with me. It's not a problem with the game. And that's the only game that consistently does that to me over and over again.
I see wizards playing that shit online, and they don't get mad. And I see how they manipulate their shit, and I go, maybe I'm the problem.
It is. It's like solitaire. It's like poker. It's like all these classic 52 card games that you can play them you can love them, you can play them at a high level, and you can just keep getting better and keep learning and keep developing new strategies. And it's just that times a million.
Yes, and also, most importantly, it's just fun to play. It's fun to have your chips counted. It's fun to have your cards do the bling noise. It's fun to get your multipliers. It's good. It's all good.
So good. Anyone who hasn't played Balatro yet, it's like $10 on mobile. It's the best mobile game I've ever played. It's also on console and PC, of course. But it is the best mobile game ever made.
Yes, yes. I suggest getting it on something that has haptic feedback. Not haptic feedback, but like Switch has that HD rumble, and you can feel it. You can feel that shit.
I think the iPhone version also does. Unfortunately, Android doesn't. But here what I'm telling you. Buy it on Switch and buy it on your phone. Why not? Who cares?
Get the special edition with the cards.
Yeah, we get the real Jokers and the real playing cards.
The real Jokers, and apparently the Jokers that they chose were really lame, but...
Well, you know. And here's the story I'll tell about Balatro that shows how this game is just so expertly crafted, is that there's the blueprint Joker, right? That we all know and love.
Yes.
If you get a blueprint Joker, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to win the game, but it almost certainly guarantees that you're going to have so much more fun than you already were having, and you're just going to smile the entire time, to the point now that when I play a run and I see that Joker pop up, I lock in and I start theory crafting 19 steps ahead of like, okay, let me get out the notes app. If I write down, I have this much money right now. If I play the next one and skip the next blind, I'm going to get this and I'm going to get this. And that gives me this percentage chance that I'm going to get the Joker I need. And I don't do that with any game unless I'm really into it. I do that shit all the time with Balatro.
It's really sad when you get a special blueprint, like a foil blueprint on your first round, that it's like $8 and you have $7 and you have nothing to sell.
No money.
And then you just consider killing yourself.
I have.
Yeah.
But like, when it goes by and you just see it off into the night, you're like, okay, I'll see you again one day, my friend. And you know you will.
And yeah, maybe in 3 runs from now.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, there's nothing else I can say about Balatro. It's great. Check it out.
Put the hyperlink up. Put it again.
Hyperlinks.
Flash it.
Episode 1 where we talk about Balatro. Episode 2 where we talk about Balatro.
Episode 2. There it is. Click that shit. Does YouTube do hyperlinks anymore?
Nah.
But
it's in the description. It's also in Spotify description.
Look at the description. Inscription. That's not
this
on
year.
the
Not
list.
this year. I think it was on one of our lists last year. I forget. Should have went back and
wasn't on mine.
All right, I have some honorable mentions I'm going to shout out. Obviously, You only played 3 games, so I don't think you have any, but hang on a second here. Call of Duty?
I'm hanging. Man.
Call of Duty's not on your list?
Forgot about that.
It's not beating Balatro, but you think it'd be number 2?
Do I think Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is better than Scald? Yes. I do think that. But I do think the campaign is dog shit. However, that multiplayer is Call of Duty. And that's what else could I ask for?
You think it's better than Slice and Dice?
Do I think it's better than Slice and Dice? No.
Really?
Yes.
With multiplayer and zombies included?
No, still no. I still enjoy Slice and Dice significantly more.
I'm gonna have to get on that shit then, because I love me some Call of Duty.
I mean, listen, it's like worlds apart. It's like comparing, it's like saying who was the guy in the Marvel movie, something in the 7 Rings?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that guy and the 7 Rings, and comparing that to like the Passion of the 7 Rings. No, I think it's also Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. The guy, Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's like saying Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's like, is it better than like Gladiator? It's like, dude, it's worlds apart. I don't even know if you can compare the two.
I mean, fair, but Call of Duty is a video game.
Call of Duty is in fact a video game, but I would say I'm not gonna say confidently that you're gonna like it more than Call of Duty. As a matter of fact, you probably won't, because you're a Call of Duty guy. That felt like an insult. It wasn't.
We're Call of Duty guys. Of course we buy the Battle Pass.
Of course we got the Battle Pass. I didn't. Did you?
No, never.
Good. But yeah, I don't know. Call of Duty has a really fun multiplayer. The zombies is also really fun. I don't know if it's as fun as Cold War. We'll have to see. But it is, at the end of the day, a Call of Duty game. So it is just like nonsense where you just like shooting shit and then you just get like spawn killed 7 times in a row. But that's what people need. That's what people need sometimes.
Well, Call of Duty is going to be an honorable mention for me. I really enjoyed it this year. It defined a lot of my online gaming time this year, and for that, I respect it.
Yes, we did play, me and you, a lot of Call of Duty.
My other honorable mention is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I got the Platinum Trophy in this game.
Yeah, you did get the Platinum Trophy, and then your ass did not put that shit on any list yet. Yeah,
I mean, it's good. It's not making my top 5, that's for sure. But it is good, and if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you gotta play this game. It's the best Dragon Ball game ever made. That's where. Have you
played Kakarot?
No, because apparently that is not the best Dragon Ball game ever made, according to 90% of reviewers.
That's true. But it's like Yakuza, man. You can play the episode where they get their driver's license.
Okay, that's pretty sweet. Actually, that's pretty cool. They need to add the costumes to Sparking Zero where they're in the driver's license outfits. That's all I'm saying.
That would be really cool. No game has ever had that fit of Goku in the jacket.
We need it.
Yeah, like what the fuck? What are we doing?
So yeah, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, check out Sparking Zero. I'm not going to give a full review right now, but moving on. Yes. Next, we're going into our backlogs. Our backlogs of hundreds of games, literally, because we are broken people that continuously buy games and then not play them. So, for me, I wanted this to be a list of games that I played for the first time this year, but didn't necessarily come out in 2024. Because I think a lot of these games, if not all of them, we talked about on the podcast before. And even though they're not new, it's worth a shout out because I know a lot of our listeners are like us where you just kind of play games as you get to them. Whenever the mood strikes you, you jump into it. We're not constantly trying to keep up with the zeitgeist or anything. You know, this isn't our job. So consider these recommendations for games that if you ever see them on sale, if you ever just have them and you feel like playing a game, this gets the stamp of approval from me and Jonathan respectively.
Yes.
Do you want to start us off with this, with your number 5?
Sure. I shall start us off with Gato Roboto.
Tiny game.
Tiny game, very short game, 3 hours, but that was a very filling game. It's like when you go to a restaurant. You ever eat something where you're like, this is not going to be enough. This is not going to be enough. And then you get like 2 of them and you're like, oh, I'm so full. Yep. I'm so full. That's games. That's like the state of modern gaming, I feel like. A lot of the time, Gato Roboto is when you look at your fast food order when you're in the McDonald's drive-thru and you look at that extra 10-piece nuggets that you ordered and you say, I probably don't need that. And then you go and have your regular meal, your downsized meal, and you go, wow, that was much better. I feel great after eating instead of feeling like a disgusting piece of shit. That's Gato Roboto.
Is it mainly a platformer? I kind of forget. Was it mainly a platformer?
It is a Metroid-styled platformer. I say Metroid-styled because it is very similar in spirit to Metroid, because you know it's in a space station. You're in a suit. You got like the missiles. You got the gun, and then all that kind of like stuff. But really, there's no like Metroidvania aspect to it. It's very level based. There's a hub that you kind of start in, but then it's level based from there. Once you finish an area, there's no real reason to go back. These areas are very well done, bite-sized, different gimmick in each area. That's interesting. The combat is simple and fun. It's just fun to like run around and explore in. There's some collectibles to find. I 100%ed it. I found all like the collectible color schemes and like heart pieces and stuff. It's just fun. It's just a little bite-sized game. It's also like $3.
Yeah, it's always struck me as like a game jam type or like a passion project game. It just looks primitive, but in a way that is charming and positive. So I'm glad that you liked it, because I don't hear a lot of people talk about it.
I mean, I think it's a bit above a game jam. It's like you can kind of consider it sort of like, it reminds me of that kind of in essence, I guess. But I think it's above because it really is like a full package. I think game jam games a lot of the time are just like, here's a concept and here's kind of what we do with it. But the intention is that this could possibly be a new game at some point. Like this could be a full game one day. But Gato Roboto does not need that, actually.
Excellent. Yeah, it just kind of, that's the vibe it gives. But now that you're saying it's much more than that, I can see. I'm excited to see, because I will play it eventually. It's so short.
Yeah, do you own it?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone owns it, right? It's like $3.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't own it until a couple months ago when it was on sale for, I think, $1. It's worth like $1. You know, it's worth it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played Minute
like,
this year, and that was like the same situation. Like, got it on sale for like $2. Super short game, similar art style, and I like that those exist and that people are out there playing them still and talking about them.
Yeah, it's great for when you're like burnt out on these 50+ hour long games with open worlds and battle passes, and when you're stricken by the quirks of modern gaming, Gato Roboto is there.
They should put that on the box.
They should put that on the box. But yeah, that's my 5.
Cool.
What's your 5?
My number 5. I'm waiting to gauge your reaction to see how this sits with you. My number 5 is Halo 3.
Did we play that in 2024?
ODST.
Oh, you are crazy for that. You're fucking crazy for that.
What do you mean?
Actually, though.
What do you mean?
Is Halo 3 on this list?
No.
Then you're crazy for that. You think Halo? You're saying do you believe Halo 3 ODST is better than Halo 3?
Okay.
Your silence means that there's more.
There is more in that Halo 3, first of all, we played in 2023. That's why it's not on the list.
Okay.
But I do think that there's a case to be made that ODST might be better than Halo 3.
Okay, make it.
Take the multiplayer out. Take Firefight out. Just campaign. I think that Halo 3 has a better story, but I think Halo 3 ODST has more interesting combat encounters. I really do. The environments?
I do agree with that.
Halo 3 environments look better for some reason, even though it came out before, and I think are more well designed. But in terms of like location to location setup of combat encounters, I think I had more fun in ODST.
That is valid, because the thing is, you're right, and that's how I kind of saw it for a long time. Especially if you play it single player, like those encounters are very, very interesting because you're just like one dude, not even a Spartan in this like fucked up city, like doing this shit. My problem with Halo 3 ODST is that the levels are just way too short. Way too short.
They are short. And I think I even talked about this on our Halo minicast, that I kind of like that better. I think that some of the levels in Halo 1 through 3 kind of drag. And I think ODST was a lot snappier.
Thumbs down on that one.
Man. My attention span is the size of a walnut. I can get in and get out so quick in ODST.
No, it's... yeah. I don't know. Some of them are just way too short. Like, the mission where you are Mickey, or not Mickey, I don't remember, Dutch, maybe it's Dutch, and you're on the like the beach, and you have to get a warthog and drive over to the area. Mm-hmm. That mission's like 6 minutes. What's up with that?
It was enough, and I had fun.
Man, I don't know.
The ending was pretty dog shit, though.
Oh, where we just hold out and
yeah.
But
yeah, no, I think Halo 3 is definitely a better game, especially when you consider the whole package, you know, story, multiplayer as well. I think Halo 3 is a better game, but didn't play it, so ODST makes the list.
Get off easy this time.
But yeah, I mean, playing Halo 3 ODST with you was one of the best gaming experiences I had this year. I'm thinking of moments like when I had to hold out and defend you while you were eating your soup. That's one of those classic multiplayer moments that I'll always remember. Playing Firefight late at night, a little brewski action. It was just a really good time.
We got to get some more gaming. Maybe I'll stream co-op gaming one day.
I'd love that.
That would be fun. Get some Barony up in here.
Whew.
I do miss... we got to play some Barony.
Barony didn't make the list. It didn't make my list.
Barony also didn't make the list. Because we never beat it. So, yeah. And also, we didn't even scratch the surface with Barony.
Yeah. But I want to come back to it. Maybe it'll make the list next year.
Yes. Maybe.
All right. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is Jedi Survivor. Can you believe a Star Wars game, a licensed game, is on this list?
No. And certainly not an EA game.
Yep, but Jedi Survivor is really, really good. Probably the best EA game ever. Nah, I don't know about that.
No, Mass Effect,
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. I haven't played those yet, though.
The best EA game you've ever played.
It's the best EA game I've ever played. It's really, really fucking good. And you know what? It's like... So the combat's really good. The open world is really good. Like, Jedi Fallen Order is fine. It's like... So it's such a shadow. It's in the shadow of its younger brother, unfortunately, because it just does so little, and it just feels weird to play. And also, the animations are frankly terrible. But Jedi Survivor, it's like that awkward kid you knew in high school, and then he got really, really handsome, and like got his like he was biding his energy until he was an adult, and then he unleashed it, and now you're like, oh my god, good for that guy, good for him. You know what I'm talking about? You know that guy.
Oh,
know that one guy where you're like, good for him, good for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jedi Survivor.
That's Cal Kestis himself.
That is Cal fucking Kestis. That's the dude from Shameless, and also the Joker from Gotham.
I don't understand the last part of that, but let's talk about Jedi.
He played the actor Cameron Monaghan played the Joker in Gotham, the TV
I didn't
show.
know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, who the fuck watches? Who our age watches Gotham? I didn't even realize it was a thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time I see Jedi now, like on Twitter or whatever, I always think about how you love it so much and how weird that is.
Well, I mean, I only love Survivor. I don't like
okay.
Fallen Order that much. Fallen Order is like just it's whatever. It's fine. But Survivor's genuinely really good, and it shocked me. Genuinely shocked me how good it was. The story specifically, really, really good. It had a lot of like movie moments.
Yeah.
Like, not many games have real, like, I can imagine being in the theater. I felt like I was in a movie theater watching a movie for a minute there because I was so invested, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that could have been in a movie. That could have been in a movie and shown to people in a theater.
Well, I'm glad you like it so much. Now that I'm like doing this thing where I want to play games and watch the movies that are connected to them, I do want to watch Star Wars and play Jedi at the same time. And I'm just excited because everything you've told me about the game so far makes it sound like it might be the best licensed game of all time.
It might be. I mean, good question. I'll have to play more licensed games.
I mean, fair, because I'm thinking of like, the Spider-Man, Batman Arkham and whatnot, but just the way you're so glowing on Jedi and how it seems like it'll vibe with me and how it vibe with you, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, it vibes. I played some of the Batman games. I played the Sony Spider-Man. Does not hold a candle to Survivor, in my opinion.
Impressive.
Yes, it's very good, and it's very respectful to the player as well.
We love that. We love that around, especially from an EA game.
Yeah, especially from an EA game. Well, I couldn't fucking believe it, so I was like, whoa. So I'm very happy to put this on the list.
Respawn's are goats over there, making Titanfall, and then never making Titanfall again, making Jedi.
Well, we're getting one more. It's got to be.
Trilogy?
I think it has to be a trilogy.
Cool. Do you think we'll get that maybe
So-
towards like the end of this generation?
Ooh, I don't know. I really don't know. Jedi Fallen Order came out a decent amount of time ago. That's not true. That came
Like
out in
2019, I think.
Yeah, okay. We might get it in a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years. We'll have to see.
Cool. Looking
I'm
forward
interested
to it.
in where they're going to take it and how they're going to end it.
It's just impressive that they were able to do that with a Star Wars story in a game, because Star Wars stories themselves are so hard to pull off nowadays, especially with the fatigue.
I think they pulled it off very well, because like it follows a very interesting event, but it's in between a big span of time where nothing really happens, basically.
Yeah.
It's in between the Empire taking over and Luke being, a person.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but I'll find out one day.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you didn't know that much about Star Wars. My bad.
Yeah, I'm a Star Wars newbie.
Okay.
Sorry, gamers.
Well, one day you'll find out. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. My number 4 game from my backlog this year was Resident Evil HD. This game
Really?
is
Wait a
so
minute.
good.
Wait a minute. I thought you played that like years ago.
Nah, I'd never played the remake of Resident Evil 1 before.
I thought you did it on the Switch.
Yeah, last year in 2024.
I thought we were living together when you were playing that shit.
No, I'd
What?
never played it before.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's great. I know everyone, has talked about it since the GameCube about how great this remake is. Well, I guess this is like the remake of the remake, or the remaster of the remake. There's like an HD version, whatever.
Yeah.
It looks so good. This is the one I think is
does.
for like modern platforms, so it has a lot of like aliasing and whatnot. Everything just really stands out from these beautiful backgrounds. Characters.
Yeah, it was originally released for GameCube, yeah?
Yeah, and then I don't remember if it was
Yeah.
PS4 or PS5, but there's like a new, a
Yes,
fresh coat of
yes.
paint on that one.
Yes. Yeah, and it looks really fucking good still to this day.
It really holds up. I still would really like a modern Resident Evil remake of one. I know that's not a very popular opinion. I would like it, but this it held down the fort. I don't have much frame of reference.
For almost 20 years.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, GameCube's 20 years ago.
Well, it was, yes, GameCube was more than 20 years ago, but more importantly, Resident Evil, this remake originally came out in 2002. Resident Evil 2 remake came out in 2018.
Holy shit.
Yep, so that was a 16-year difference where they were like, nah, we don't have to remake another game. I don't remember if this game sold very well initially, so.
I don't know. I know everyone says it's the better version, but
Here it is. Yeah, it says, however, the game sold worse than expected, leading Capcom to change the direction of the series to a more action-oriented approach.
well,
And that was when the game was released in 2002.
okay. It includes clips from the George Romero Resident Evil movie that never came out. This version has
really?
clips from that movie as its like
Interesting.
live action opening, which is really cool. Because
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, because I went down like a wiki rabbit hole on that movie that never came out. Because that sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome. Instead, what do we get? We get
Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich. And who's her husband?
I don't know.
Well, he's the guy he made the Resident Evil games. It's Paul W.S. Anderson.
Sure, him.
Because he made the
Polyand.
He makes all those video games. He made the original the second Mortal Kombat movie. He made the Resident Evil films. He made fucking Alien vs. Predator. Well, which was a game first. I know that's stupid, but it was a game first.
The game first? That was Alien vs. Predator was a game first?
Yeah, it was a game on like what's it called? Like a Sega console.
I knew it was a game. I played the game back in the day. One of them. I just assumed it was a movie first.
I believe there were comics first. They were comics first. You have Death Race. Where the fuck is it? Monster Hunter. Of course, Monster Hunter. Can't forget Monster Hunter. Yeah.
But the Resident Evil HD, it's good Resident Evil. It's certainly not my favorite Resident Evil. But it just was nice to see like the roots of the franchise, see where things started. I know it's not literally the beginning, because that PS1 version just seems so rough. I don't know if I could stomach it, to be honest with you. But it has all those trappings of, modernized tank controls. So you don't actually have to do like the tank stuff, but that the fixed camera angles, the zombies just kind of being around corners and doing bullshit things that is just unfair. Like, old game is old. And it's charming for that, but the puzzles still kind of hold up, and the visuals are so great that it made it kind of just like a really good puzzle game that I had to occasionally deal with old ass combat and movement to enjoy. But I enjoyed a lot of it, and I would recommend it to any Resident Evil fan, not necessarily to any person who just wants to play an old game.
Well, guess what? I own it, and I'm going to play it.
And I would play with the new controls. I mean, I'm sure you would anyway, maybe. I don't think anyone needs to play with the tank controls to prove themselves. It's really just, it's rough.
No, the tank controls are, I don't understand how people played that shit when in olden times. I dabbled with the Tomb Raider remaster trilogy couple months ago, and they have the option between tank controls and modern controls. Oh my god, it's unplayable.
I know, and I know people who grew up with it will say that's the right way to play it. Sure, play it that way if you want. I did not, and I had a great time.
Hey man, you know what? That is actually bigoted as fuck. IMO, because
you're dumb.
Actually, you're dumb, bigoted as fuck, because that's the same argument that people say about gay marriage.
Do you want to be against gay marriage just because you want to play Resident Evil with your fucked up N64 controller?
Yeah. Do you, huh? You're not looking towards the future, asshole.
Be forward thinking. Play more Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yes. Wait. Resident Evil 1. Wait.
I'm talking Resident Evil 2. The controls in that game are so much better.
That's true. That's very true.
What is your number 4?
My number 4 is... I already said number 4.
What is your number 3?
My number 3 is Faith, the Unholy Trinity.
Ooh. Interesting.
Yeah, you played Faith this year as well.
Mm-hmm. Is it on my list?
Is it on your list?
You shall have to wait and find out.
Oh, we will have to wait and find out.
It's not.
I probably won't... Oh, okay. Then we can just talk about it regularly.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I really liked it. The first time I played through it, I was like, yeah, this was really good, but it's slow, it's a bit strange, and it's not really like exactly what I wanted to get into. And then I stopped playing it, and I kept on thinking about it because it has such a unique style. No games try to replicate the Atari at all, and it has these rotoscope scenes that are really great, and then the music and the sound effects are all really interesting with like the speak and spell vocals. It just has such a great identifiable style that if any other game does that, it's going to be compared to Faith. It's going to be basically stealing from Faith because of how striking and how special they made these graphics and the style of the game. And I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I played through it again. I got all the notes. I did all the endings. I love it. I love the game so much. It's great.
I can't believe you played through it again, a second time and 100%ed it, but that is...
Oh, yeah.
Everything you said.
Every single note I found. And it was worth it because those notes are very good. Very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of good writing. I mean, I know people talk about the story and whatnot, but just the writing in general in that game is really, really fantastic.
Yeah.
It's spine-chilling at times.
Yes, and also it's paired with the music. There's this one scene where I think it's at the end of chapter 2 or something like that, or it's where after you go through like the tunnels, like the sewer tunnel, and then you find yourself on the other end of like the woods, and you find this piece of paper in the middle of like a forest. You start reading it, and the music's still going, and it's like this obituary about these people who were found like dead in the tunnels, like these drug addicts, something like that, and then it slowly turns into like, it's like, oh, these people, they were suspected drug addicts, they were found dead in the tunnel, blah blah blah, all these things, and then it's like, but I bet that you don't care that they're dead, do you, John? Because they were drug addicts. They were this, and that. And like, the letter becomes more and more unhinged as you scroll, and just keeps scrolling until it's just like one word over and over and over again. It's like, I don't remember what it is, like slay or something like that. And the music is getting all like distorted and messed up. And you're just like, oh, like that's awesome.
That is my favorite moment in the entire game. Whenever I gave my initial review of Faith, I told you about, I was trying to like not spoil anything, but I told you there was a moment where they did something that can only be done in a game. That's what I was talking about. And that is, it's a standout example of it, but there are many examples in Faith of them doing things like that are just so effective to scare you or make you feel something in a way that only a game can do. And I appreciate that a lot.
The camera section is also really good, where you send down the cross to the basement and then you pick up the camera. That's also a really, really good segment.
That's the scariest moment in the game, I think, because that's the one time where you already feel so defenseless in the game, but you kind of get used to it. That's the one time in the whole game where your like senses are taken away. So now you just have nothing. You're just alone and you have nothing to help. And it was very frightening. Yeah,
you get that like jump scare of the guy's face sometimes when you take the picture. It's just so strange. And also, I also really like that segment where when you reach the underworld, basically, through the daycare center, and it's just like really is kind of feels like an underworld. Like it feels like you feel like you actually are in hell for once. That's also a standout segment because that's like the finale. It's also really good. But yeah, Faith is great. Any fan of horror, I would suggest go check it out. It also has gameplay. It's not like, the greatest thing in the universe, but it has gameplay. That's not a lot. That's more than you can say for many horror games.
Yeah, it's not the most engaging. It's very slow.
No.
You gotta be patient.
It's very slow, but there is like you have to dodge this thing and then hold out your cross. Like that is gameplay. That is in fact gameplay.
By definition, it is gameplay.
Yes, it is. But yeah, that's my number 3.
All right. My number 3, ironically, is Persona 3 Portable.
Oh my goodness.
I played a majority of it in this year. So yeah, I played like more than half of this game in this year, and then more than half of Reload in this year. Not an entire one in either year, but I'm going to just lump them together.
This guy just loves Persona.
What can I say, man? And it's Persona 3, I'm playing it a lot. Is it better than 5 for me? We'll see.
Guess what? Persona 4 is still available.
Yeah, I know.
And it's better than all of them. It's better than all of them. I don't know if that's true. But it's my favorite.
Yeah. I think I'll like it a lot whenever I finally give it a chance. But yeah, we've talked a lot about Persona 3 Portable. Both of us independently reviewed it on the podcast. You last year, me at the beginning of this year. So I won't harp too much on it, but everything I said about Persona 3 Reload in terms of like vibes is still there. But the gameplay is old, but it still really holds up. And I think it's impressive that a PSP game can stand against modern RPGs to the amount that it does. Even when it's lacking 3D graphics for most of it, and even when it's mostly a menus game, it still feels more engaging than like 80% of modern JRPGs.
Oh yeah, no, Persona got that sauce. Can't deny it that, and Tartarus has the pull to it, I think. And also, I mean, the only thing that I really didn't like about Persona 3 Portable was the point and click style menu navigation. I really think I would have been more invested and enjoyed the game more if I actually had to like move around and travel, but that point and click thing was just like, oh my lord.
Yeah, it really detached me and made me not feel as invested in the characters, but luckily I'm getting that from Reload, so I'm kind of appreciating more the second time around.
Yeah, that was my issue with it. So I am excited to play through Persona 3 Reload and actually be in those environments and be there in the moment,
Yeah, but great game. Won't harp too much on it. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Fez.
Really?
Yes.
In the year of our Lord, 2025.
In
Fez.
the year 2025, 2024, because I played this in 2024.
True.
Fez is awesome. It's so good. That is an indie game that needs to be played by more people. That is like when you think about the quintessential indie games. What do you think of?
I think of indie game the movie, which means I'm thinking of Fez.
I think of indie game the movie. Yes, and I also think of Fez. Fez is one of the most quintessential indie games I think someone could play. And it's just a beautiful game. It's a game that I think could be considered art in some way. Fez is a platformer. Is a 2D platformer where you gain the ability to swap into 3 dimensions, and you have to find cubes, solve puzzles, and that's the whole game. And it's beautiful, and it's calming, and it's interesting, and it's very whimsical, very makes you wonder about the world, and also if you can fucking believe it, it kind of actually has a message. It's like these messages of like existence and things being more complicated than you can ever imagine, and also the world being bigger than you could ever imagine. Like that's kind of what the game is sort of about, and that really stuck with me with Fez. And I 100%ed that game, and that game is not very easy to 100%.
And it holds up?
It holds up. It holds up 100%. I kind of thought I was like, maybe I am being a little biased because it's a game I played a lot when I was younger, but I never was able to beat it. I was just like looking at the visuals and went, wow, and like jumping and dying. But as an adult, I'm like, holy shit, I get it. Like I fully get it. Like I love it even more now. I think it's incredible. And I think anyone who's into indie games should play it. It's like Tunic before Tunic.
It's a good comparison.
It's like, Tunic is like about being in a world and you just kind of discover things and just have to piece things together. That's Fez, essentially.
Yeah, Fez, it seems like the type of game that was made for me because it came out in like my peak indie era. It's beautiful. It has like the Super Paper Mario 3D effect to it that I love.
But actually good.
Yes. I honestly think the whole thing that turned me off with Fez was the developer kind of going nuts, and I don't even remember what that was all about, but now that some time has passed, I would like to revisit it at some point.
It's okay, he just canceled Fez 2, which means that there's not going to be a sequel to ruin it. It's actually,
Fair
I
enough.
think we got off scot-free. I think we're good.
Yeah, no, it is one of those, like, you know, Super Meat Boy, Binding of Isaac, Splunky, Fez, it's kind of all, it's a culture, really. And it's a big chunk missing from my gaming repertoire. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about Fez much anymore. I feel like Celeste kind of took its place in the...
I mean, the game is ancient.
It is, but, you know, people still talk about things like Cave Story. I'm just wondering if it is like just the developer shenanigans or if something happened with Fez, like it just kind of fell out of the mainstream, I think.
Because I think it's because it's not a game that you would want to replay over and over and over again. Cave Story has combat, has addicting gameplay. Fez is like an experience that you kind of go through once and it changes your life and then you put it away. You don't like, I'm going to play it again, you know? Mm-hmm. You don't have you know, your firstborn child 7 times in a row. I mean, sometimes you do.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what you mean by that.
If you like, your child being born is probably one of the most beautiful moments, one of the most impactful moments that you'll have in your life as a person. I think for many people, as I've been told. But like sometimes you don't need to replay it like over and over again. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Better comparison. Here, I'll give you a better comparison, buddy. So for one that you can identify with, great. You don't redo the poop that made you feel good.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fez is a really good shit then.
And yeah, Fez is a really good shit. Let's move on.
All right, my number 2 is Persona 3 number 3, Alan Wake 2 number 2.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Whoa.
I've talked about Alan Wake 2 on probably every single episode of the podcast this year, so I'm not going to speak at length about it. Just fucking play this game. It is...
I started playing it.
Yeah? How far in are you?
I stopped playing because I had to go through moving shenanigans very soon after, but I played up until I got to the literally the first dead body, trying to piece together that murder.
Okay. All right.
And then I got very overwhelmed with the whole mine place thing. I was like, ah.
Yeah, the mine place is cool. It's you kind of just get
Where's
over
Alan?
it. You get over it pretty quickly.
Where is he?
He's there. You'll get to him eventually. They actually
I know.
get him in there pretty quickly. I guess, he is the titular character.
Yeah, it's like the game is named after him.
Yeah. Alan Wake 2 is a pretty mid survival horror game, all things considered. But it's got the vibes, and it's got the story, it's got the actors and the characters. It's got almost anything you could want from like a modern AAA game to just satisfy all your senses. The only thing it's kind of lacking is a little bit of polish to its puzzle solving. And I can kind of forgive that as long as it's not too hard of a puzzle. The puzzles, if anything,
Right.
they could be just a little bit more challenging, and that would probably amp things up. I personally really like the combat. I know a lot of critics online are kind of divided as to whether the combat hits or not. But compared to Alan Wake 1, this is like a Twitch shooter. It controls well.
Hell yeah.
Controls well. It has fun moment-to-moment combat, resource management. I mean, it's just a complete package. And the story is one that has stuck with me all year. I've not been able to stop thinking about this game. And it's got the moments. It's got moments that'll go down in history. The musical, of course.
The musical segment.
Musical, of course. But several others that I won't spoil that have just stuck with me so much. It's a very sticky game. And that's why it's my number 2.
Wait, so you played through it before the Game Awards?
No. I had played it at the very beginning of this year. Of 2024, rather.
When was the 2024 Game Awards?
In December.
I mean, the 2023 Game Awards.
December of 2023. And then I played it in
okay.
probably like January, February of 2024.
So you saw that crazy dance segment, and you were like, I gotta play this game.
Honestly, yeah. That is exactly what happened. It opened the door, at least, for me to be interested in it, and then I went down the rabbit hole.
That's valid. I'm very excited to actually play that.
Yeah, and it's flawed, and it also doesn't run particularly well, but it's...
Did you play it on PC?
I did, but I also, from videos I've seen on PlayStation and whatnot, there's a lot of like pop-in and stuff, but I think that engine that Remedy uses is a little bit funky, but it looks, it's visually striking. The art style is fantastic.
Right, yeah, it does look good. I like that big-ass tree in the very beginning.
Oh yeah, big-ass trees, the big redwoods.
Alex Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Sam Lake with Max Payne's voice.
You mean like Max
Very
Payne?
trippy. What?
You mean like Max Payne? Max Payne is just Sam Lake with that voice.
Oh, yes. Well, when I think of Max Payne, Sam Lake was the face of Max Payne in the first game, and then they changed his face in the second game, and then they kept the same face for the third game, and he looks really good in the third game, so that's like my face. That's his face when I think about him in Max Payne. This is just Sam Lake to me.
And it's kind of freaky
sorry.
looking.
This is Alex Casey.
You're right.
Yes, and it is very freaky looking.
So that's my number
But
2.
I like it.
And the DLC's also okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
What is your number 1?
Dwarf Fortress.
Really? Dwarf Fortress, number 1.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Pure magic. It's pure magic.
How much time did you put into Dwarf Fortress this year? Do you know?
Only 50 hours.
Oh, only.
Only 50 hours. And it went by like nothing.
Do you see yourself continuing to play it like on and off for the rest of eternity?
Yes. I'm planning on starting a new fortress very soon. And you know what? I think I may even stream it again, but like actually stream it and not get completely fucked over by the aquifer for 2 hours straight. But I think I'm gonna do it. If not stream it, just play it for myself because I just love this game so much. Every time I stop playing it and then I see videos about it or images about it online, I'm like, oh, I want to play it.
So, I mean, Dwarf Fortress as a simulator, I just don't know how you put that much time into it. What keeps you coming back?
It's all new every time. Every time it's all brand spanking new shit. The gameplay loop is great. It's fun to dig things. It's fun to build things. It is fun to build up your dwarves. It's fun to manage. They made the actual gameplay itself, like just like clicking through the menus and designating activities for your dwarves, fun. Then they made growing your civilization fun. And then even more importantly, they made when shit goes wrong fun and interesting. It tells you like a story. It's a story maker. When you're creating your civilization, you're not like, I want to optimize my civilization. Like, you could do that, but when I play the game, I'm like, I am interested on what story is going to be unfolded to me. And I've told you so many of the stories that I've had so far. But like one of the things I had was like I had a civilization a while ago that was taken down from a fire-breathing forest titan that just barreled through the forest and just started spewing fire everywhere and burnt down the whole forest. And none of my dwarves could attack him because I simply did not think about having shields. So that's how I lost my first fortress. Not my first fortress, but lost one of my early fortresses. And then even like in that fortress, I had this dock in the caves underground. I had this dock just for fishing so that my dwarves could capture cave fish and prepare it. And what would happen is because I was in a cave, sometimes these like cave birds or some shit would wander out from one of like the crevices, and they wouldn't necessarily be aggressive in any way, but they would like startle my dwarves and they would panic and fall backwards off the dock and like drown, and no one was able to pick them up because dwarves can't swim, by the way. And they were having trouble like making stairs. So I just had a dock that I had to condemn because none of the dwarves were able to keep their asses on the fucking dock because they kept on getting scared and falling down. And that stuck with me, and almost everything that has happened of interest has stuck with me in that game. It's just so good.
And you're engaged the entire time. You're not going back and forth.
I'm dialed in. I'm getting upset when I have to stop playing. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to. This is the type of game where you hold in your pee.
Oh man.
If a game makes you hold in your pee, if a game makes you forego eating because you're just like, I just want to keep doing this. One, that is gaming addiction, and you should probably keep an eye on that. Two, the game must be really fucking good. I don't do that much often anymore, but I do that with Dwarf Fortress sometimes. You cannot pull my ass away from that game sometimes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised because you've known of Dwarf Fortress for so long. It's one of those legendary games that everyone online talks about. I don't know many people that actually play it, and to see someone firsthand go into it and get sucked in, I'm glad you love it so much. I personally don't think it's for me, but the fact that
not for everyone.
Your number one is a game that isn't even really a game just shows how like powerful of a tool of a systems and how well made it is and everything.
Yes. I mean, I don't think we should mistake. It is a game. It is a game, but it's also like it's much more than a game. It is just, I think it's pure magic. I think it's pure fucking magic is what this game is. This is a once in a lifetime type of game that is released. It might be one of my favorite games of all time, actually. Not necessarily because of the gameplay, but because it is so special. It is the most unique thing I've seen. This is the game, no question. If someone's like, you need to bring you're on a deserted island for the rest of your life, what game do you bring? Dwarf Fortress. Right there.
Wow.
No question. No question.
That's awesome. And you think you still have a lot more game to see?
I have so much more game to see. This game could easily be the game I put the most amount of hours into. I can see myself playing this for years upon years. Just like coming back to it over and over again, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Is it compared to Minecraft, how are we sitting? Because that's my touchstone for something like this.
Oh man, what do you mean?
Like, I don't know if you feel this way, but for me, Minecraft is I'm always playing Minecraft. Even if I go months without touching it, I'm always playing it because I just am constantly in it. I know when I get back to it that I'm going to be having a good time. I'm going to see all these randomly generated things. I'm going to have, keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from you for Dwarf Fortress. How is it compared to that feeling?
It is that feeling and much, much more, because Minecraft, there is a certain point where you can see everything. Sure, you can see something in a new generation. You can see things in a new light and a new angle, a new seed. But eventually you will see everything. You will experience the things. And even when you are seeing new things, you've experienced it before. So it's not really new to you anymore. But Dwarf Fortress, because of how complicated it is, because of how many things that directly happen to you, that you're not just seeing, or the things that are just happening, it is such an evolved version of any type of simulator that you can think of. I think it could keep any person occupied for a very, very long time.
Very good. Very good. Exciting. 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Cool.
No question about it.
Awesome. Is that the only 10
What's
you
your
gave this
number
year?
What? Is that the only 10 I gave this year? No.
Oh, okay.
I was very generous this year. You want to hear some of my 10 out of 10s this year?
Yeah, let's get some
I'll run
honorable
through 'em
mentions
real
in
fucking
there.
quick. All right, here we go. Let's see. Busting my ratings. Fez. We're going from recency. So Fez, Dead Space 2. Faith was close. Faith was only a 9 out of 10. Dwarf Fortress. Balatro. That might be it. Oh, Doom 2016.
Of course.
And then there's a couple of just things in my backlog that I just reviewed because Smash Ultimate, Minecraft. Let's see, any more 10s? Any more 10s? Any more 10s? No more 10s. That was it.
My 10s, I actually gave less than you, I think. And I'm usually pretty generous.
No, I had a good year.
Because this is leading directly into my number one. The 5 10s that I gave this year. Portal 2, Minecraft, Elden Ring, Balatro, and then my number one first play from the backlog, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Oh, I didn't realize you played it.
Yeah.
You didn't really talk about it much.
I think it was in a weird hiatus of the podcast, one of those times when we were really busy. And I just gamed my little heart out. My little tushy was in the seat playing Resident Evil 4. This was a hold in the P game. This was...
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, comparing it to Balatro, I'm not going to, but I probably had more fun playing Balatro overall. But Resident Evil 4 was the best experience I had in one session, you know what I mean? Couple days of playing this game. I remember that so much. It's just quality content back to back. I mean, you played it, Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's the best Resident Evil, hands down. And I know a lot of people will prefer the original Resident Evil 4. I still have yet to play it, and maybe I'll be stood corrected. But if that, I've played the modern remakes. I've played 7 and 8. I've played so much Resident Evil. And 4 Remake is there's a gulf between 4 Remake and the next one down. It's just constantly refreshing itself, showing me new things. Moment-to-moment gameplay never gets boring, never gets dull. If anything, it just keeps getting more exciting. It's just a fantastic work of art.
That's great. And I didn't expect that at all.
I really didn't either, because I knew everyone loved Resident Evil 4, and I knew that I, liked Resident Evil a lot. I didn't expect it to be one of the best games I've ever played in my life when I sat down to play it.
It is my second favorite survival horror game ever.
Behind
Dead Space 2.
Okay. Fair.
It is really, really good. And I do think it's worth you playing the original as well, because the original, they're very different. They're different enough that you should play it and make your own conclusion. Because there's also segments that were cut out of 4 Remake that I think were interesting enough and made me be like, oh, I wish that was in the game. It doesn't knock it down any points or anything like that, but it's worth it to see what else there could have been.
Yeah, and I will
And
eventually.
what else, and the differences between the versions, because there is differences.
Yeah, I'd like to get to it. But, I mean, these Resident Evil remakes, I struggle to explain what it is. Even now, after I've been thinking about this for a while to make this podcast, I struggle to explain the feeling I get playing one of these modern Resident Evil games moment to moment. I am just so in it. I'm so immersed in these games, and maybe it's because they're just the best looking games of all time. Like this might be the best looking PlayStation 5 game, Resident Evil 4 Remake. PC games notwithstanding, and some other things, but for PS5,
Demon Souls has entered the chat.
No.
Oh!
Resident Evil 4, if you tailor those settings right, and you get into some of those like sunset scenes, or like you're on the water, it is mind-blowingly gorgeous on console. I can't believe how good this game looks. And
I'll have to replay it and see.
And the characters as well, with that RE engine, they got like the creepy Uncanny Valley, but just the fidelity, it's impressive. Sound design is amazing. Puzzles were amazing. Combat, did you
just play through it once?
I played through it once, and then I started a hard mode playthrough, but I never got all the way through it.
I think I played that game 3 times in a row.
I want to play it again. But I did as much as I possibly could on that first playthrough. I did all of the shooting gallery stuff. I got all the treasures. I did all the side quests and everything. The only thing I didn't do was max out my guns, because I don't even think you can on one playthrough.
No, I don't think you can either. But I mean, have you gotten that hand cannon with infinite ammo?
No, I have not.
Oh, that's what I did. Like halfway through my second playthrough, I got the hand cannon. And I was like, ee! And I just destroyed everything, and it was great.
And that's the beauty, is that you can have those moments, and then you can also have the, running out of bullets, sweat on my brow, feel like I'm about to die in real life kind of gameplay moments from these. It's just a special game.
I agree. It is my favorite Resident Evil game.
Mine too. Hands down.
I need to play through 8. I heard 8 was really good.
8 is good. It's not nearly as good as 4 Remake.
Hefty words.
And I played a lot of 8.
I'll have to see for myself.
I did 100% at 8 as well. Let me rephrase. I'm never going to 100% a Resident Evil game. You know how much fucking content are in those, like, the store, the, like, guns, I forget what it's called, but, like, the point shop that you play for replays? Take you hundreds of hours to fully 100% one of these games, but I do everything there is to do in them in one playthrough.
I almost did it for 4, and then I decided maybe not.
That's crazy. And then the Mercenaries as well. Did you ever go back for that?
No, not really. Mercenaries is a lot of fun, but I'm just like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I need to play Separate Ways though.
Separate Ways and not make the list.
Ooh. Oh no.
Pretty boring. Really boring, actually.
That's really sad. I heard it was good.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I wasn't in the right headspace. I played it right after I finished 4. It did not hit for me. I didn't enjoy it. It's pretty low on my overall list of the year. It might be like bottom 5, actually.
Bottom 5?
Bottom 5. Let me see. Where is it on my
Damn.
list? Separate Ways is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's at bottom 7. It's number 7 from the bottom on my list.
Damn, are we gonna see number 1 on this episode?
I think so. When we get to our yearbook.
Oh hell yeah! Yes. Are we ready?
I think we're ready to crack open the pages right now.
Let's crack open that shit.
So yeah, if you remember from last year, we're just gonna give some superlative awards to silly little guys from our 2024 yearbook. The categories are biggest snoozer, class clown, best dressed, most likely to be a millionaire, best smile, and most likely to run off with the circus.
All right.
If someone gave me most likely to run off with the circus when I was in 8th grade, I probably would not have made it to 9th grade.
I would have ran off with the circus.
Yeah, I would have.
Okay.
I would have disappeared.
You want to see me do it? You're going to see me do it, buddy. All right. What should we start with? Biggest snoozer?
I think so. I think let's bring some negativity to the celebration of games.
Yes. I'm very excited for that.
So my biggest snoozer, I think it's well known if you watched our Game of the Year So Far episode earlier that I was not a fan of Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, the remake.
Fucked up.
You can't do this for games that you didn't even play.
I can. I just did.
You did that with
And I will
Yakuza
do it
too.
more.
That's
true.
I almost put Yakuza Kiwami as biggest snoozer, but I couldn't.
Ooh.
I couldn't. There's parts of that.
I actually wouldn't even fault you for that one. Every Yakuza game has like I'm taking a nap.
Yeah. But there are parts of that game that, Yakuza that kept me engaged, that kept me in it, that made me want to keep playing it. Crisis Core, not a single thing made me want to keep playing it. I avoid this game at all costs.
Oh.
At all costs. It is just straight up boring. And I, as you said earlier, have the infection. I love Final Fantasy VII. The characters are so good. The story is so compelling. And Crisis Core is not that at all.
We gotta give this guy Dirge Cerberus.
I bet that would be even worse.
You'll be begging to play Crisis Core
probably.
after that.
But, the fact that they remade this, I guess I'm happy for the people that liked Crisis Core.
Yeah, me. I'm gonna like it.
You're not.
I swear.
You're not.
I will. I hope I do.
And this is one of those situations where it's like, I gave it a fair chance. I really wanted to like this game because I know how much people love Zack, and I know how much people love just the story of Crisis Core, as well as it being one of the first action-based Final Fantasies and it incorporating a lot of the classic Final Fantasy elements into a like real-time combat game. It's just the combat is like okay, like it's actually good. I just don't think they do a lot with it in the main story. There's a lot of side content that I'm sure fleshes it out more, but I had no reason to want to do that. All I wanted was for this game to be over the entire time I was playing it.
What was it? The Brainwave?
The fucking, what is it called? Random memory wave or something?
I think it is Random Memory Wave.
It's so silly. I don't know. Like, the combat is fine. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's like well made, and they tightened it up a lot for the remake. It's just not. There's nothing to keep you going. And if you want 100% this game, good for you, I guess. I was so bored, I fell asleep.
Well,
and that's why it's biggest snoozer.
I'm gonna think about this when I play it.
Yeah, you are probably gonna snooze as well.
Yeah, I probably will, but we'll see.
Who are you putting for biggest snoozer?
Morrowind. That game is really boring. That game is like trudging your boots through mud, bro.
But you were so into it when you first started it.
Yeah, well, it is really fun in the beginning, but then it doesn't end. It doesn't stop. It's like it's the problem with Scald. When I'm playing through a game and I'm like really excited to see what else it's gonna do, and then I realize it's not gonna do, it gets really depressing very fast.
Did you even finish it?
No, I didn't. I abandoned it, and I don't do that. I don't abandon games. I think it's possibly the only game that I abandoned this year, because I got up to the very end. I got up to the part where you get through the ghost fence and you need to find Dagoth in the last dungeon. But like before you get through that dungeon, you need to go and find like 12 things scattered around the world, and I just like broke, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. I'm not gonna do it. Actually, it's not worth it. It's not worth my time. And I have a lot of hours in Morrowind. I had like at least 50, 60, 70 hours into my current save file on the Xbox version, and then I had 30 hours in the PC version. I tried very, very hard for this game, but I just can't fucking get into it because it is like drowning sometimes.
Damn. If you walked 10% faster, do you think you would like it?
If they removed the stamina drain from walking, maybe. But they didn't. Your stamina drains from just by walking, and then your accuracy decreases per stamina drain, and it's just a fucking nightmare. Everything is based on your stamina meter. Your stamina meter goes down every 2 seconds for breathing, and then if you want to regain it, it's like, okay, sit still for 8 years. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's fun to like mess around in, just like start a character and just be like, ooh, I'm gonna join the slave trade, because you can do that, I guess. And like that's fun, I guess, if that's your thing. I'm gonna start like dealing drugs to people. if that's your thing. I'm gonna start like selling what is it, skooma and moon sugar to people randomly across Morrowind. Okay, I'm gonna be like an evil wizard. I'm gonna be the head of the Fighters Guild. That's great and fun. If you want to like consume the main story, miserable.
But is it? I mean, does that take away from the side content?
Yes, because the side content is not much more than I need you to go here and get this, or I need you to go here and kill this person.
Well, I mean, like the drug trade and the evil like the role playing aspects of it. Does that?
I mean, no, it's not. I mean, it's fine, but it's like, you know, you're still just reading text on things, and nothing really changes. Like you can play in a certain way, but there's no real reason to do it. You know?
Damn.
No real reward. No real anything.
Ah.
Just very boring. It's a very, very boring game. It's fun, but it's fun in like it gets tiring very quickly. My stamina bar in real life depleted, and I could not finish. But when that stamina bar is up, ooh, it could be fun. But that stamina bar degrades fast, and when it's empty, it's not possible.
Wow.
That's my metaphor for it.
Damn. So you're never gonna finish it?
No, I can't.
Wow.
Can't do it. Yep. I tried though.
You gave it the college try. Now you play Daggerfall next, and then you'll be begging. See, now we're flipping on you.
You got me fucked if you think I'm doing that shit.
Walk for
Absolutely
19 years to get to the next objective.
I don't even want to talk about this shit no more.
Fine.
I'm getting bored thinking about it.
Fine. We're probably boring the audience as well. Let's move on. Class clown.
Class clown.
Me.
You.
Nah.
Oh.
You.
Me.
No.
I thought you were saying this is my choice.
No.
You're saying me time. Like I go now.
No. Me, turn.
Oh, okay.
No, I just was, you know, I want to be the class clown, but I never was. I was always too afraid to get yelled at.
The class clown, you need to have a certain charisma rating.
We
don't have that.
Not I.
No.
But
not I as well.
There was a game that had that for me. And
oh yeah, what is it?
I put class clown as Night Springs from Alan Wake 2's DLC.
Oh hell yeah.
This game made me laugh out loud more than any other game in 2024. It is so funny. This DLC rather. It is so funny. They do such a good job at making comedy worth it in a game because it's so hard to pull off a good joke in a game that you can't control the timing because the main character, the player, can do whatever they want at any time. Timing is so important, and they just know what they're doing. That if you give yourself to the game and speak its language, you can get so much comedy out of the like written word, out of the side content, but then just the regular dialogue of cutscenes and whatnot. It was just so funny. All three of these little side story expansions were just, not all of them were comedy, but they had comedic moments in them, and then also just stuff that is so wild and out there that I couldn't help but just laugh.
Were they supposed to be funny?
The first one is certainly supposed to be funny. It's a sitcom.
Oh, great.
The other two they definitely have comic relief, and it hits.
ASCII Alan Wake.
I mean, you see that and don't laugh. Are you made of stone?
I still think about that.
It's
I like
so
how
funny.
I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and I like how they didn't, like, they just left his eyes and mouth just like blank, like just like dark spots, so he looks like a little smiley face. Like, that's hilarious.
It's so funny.
He looks like the Dwarf Fortress logo.
That is a Dwarf Fortress Alan.
That is the Dwarf Fortress Alan.
And what did you have for Class Clown?
For Class Clown, I had the Organ Trail.
As in the zombie one.
The zombies, yes. Organ as in my internal organs.
Okay. And what was so funny about this?
It was just funny as fuck. It's just like it's just a parody of the Oregon Trail, which is already pretty funny, and then they added zombies in it, and then they just made funny things happen. I think there's this fucked up moment because I streamed it a couple times for you guys and some of my friends. There's like these moments where it's like you'll be running around the trail, and then like the random event will stop, and it'll be like someone farted, or it'll be like I named all the characters after people. It'll be like Jake sat on a muffler and ruined it, and then everyone's like, what? How'd you do that? And then it's like, okay, Nolan, if you ruin one more piece of equipment one more time, I'm gonna kill you. And then it happens and I kill him. Like, that's fine. It's just a funny game. And there's also that random event where it's like, you find a cat on the side of the road. Do you take it in? And I hit yes, because I was like, oh, I never saw this before. That's cute. And I hit yes, and then it said 12 ounces of food added, and then I screamed. So, yeah, it's just a funny game.
That was a very funny stream.
Yes, I had a very good time with it. Yeah, that's my class clown.
Good. You need to stream more funny games, because that was genuine entertainment. I was riveted and laughing out loud.
Hopefully the next thing I stream will be funny, but we'll see.
Okay. Moving on to best dressed. Who did you have as the best dressed for 2024?
For best dressed, it's a good thing you went with me first, because mine's going to be a short answer, because I already talked about it this episode. It's Faith. It is the most stylish game that I played this year. I mean, just look at it, listen to it. It's a funky game, and I love it. And I don't know if any other game could have pulled that off, except for this dude who made Faith.
I think funky is the perfect word to describe it. That should be on like the Steam tags, funky.
Yeah, funky little game right there.
It is very stylish, and I kind of forgot to mention it earlier or comment on it, but you're right. If any other game tries to do like an Atari throwback, they're immediately going to be compared to Faith from now on. Oh
yeah, because it just did it so good, and it just did it so striking. It's just like it's there, and also it is the first instance I saw of rotoscoping, like in modern rotoscoping, and now it's actually kind of popular. It's been popular in animation. And I don't really know if that is because of him in any way. I don't really think so, but I think he definitely opened up a lot of people's eyes to it because, you know, we got this Atari-ass looking game, and then it's like, oh, suddenly these people look really realistic all of a sudden. And it's like, oh, like, how did they do that? And then they find out about rotoscoping. So I think it's just, like, interesting. I think he added to the trend, at least.
Yeah, it's definitely been around in animation in a major way for a long time, but in games, it is like that RZ game that came out, like the Zelda CDI style game. Like I would bet that they were in some way inspired by, because the Faith project has been, you know, in the ether for a very, very long time, enough time that it could have inspired other developers.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. For best,
when it was on the itch.io days.
Itch.io. And I think it's still up there. At least part of it is.
It is. You can buy it on itch.io, or you can just get it on Steam.
Yeah, very stylish.
Yes,
Best dressed for me, I had the Archstone Explorer Astrobot, which is the Demon Souls Astrobot.
What?
That is my... So in Astrobot, they have all the little Astrobots that are dressed up as all the PlayStation characters. The Demon Souls main character one is my favorite of all of them because, first off, it's just really funny to see one of these little dudes with a huge head wearing a full suit of armor. But the hook with... you remember in Astro's Playroom how there was the gacha machine that you could get little PlayStation stuff from?
Yes.
That's in Astrobot, but there's a lot more stuff to collect. And one of the things is that all of these little dudes have an item. And whenever you get them their item, then whenever you go up and interact with them, they have like a little animation. And I don't remember exactly what the item is for the Demon Souls Astrobot, but whenever you give it to him, if you go up and interact with him, he starts rolling around, and it's a fat roll, and it has like a huge noise when he lands on the ground, and it's super slow.
Oh, I have seen that.
It just made me so happy. It was so funny and so cute, and so that is my best dressed for 2024.
That's great. And they also, I'm looking at it right now. They also have what is it? The
Archstone Maiden in Black. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the Maiden in Black, which is really funny. I wonder what she does.
I forget what she does, but I did not recognize it at all because it doesn't really play as like a veil in that art style. But once I saw who it was, I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's got like the wax on her eyes, which doesn't really look great. It doesn't really look. It's not that readable in the Astrobot style, but I can see it with the hair and staff. I'm like, oh yeah, that's her. I don't know why they call it the Nexus Dweller, but it's definitely just the Maiden in Black.
Well, they don't use the names for any of the characters. They're all like fun little nods, which is kind of cool because it's like, no, we're not gonna just like shove in your face that this is Knack.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true.
But yeah, that was my favorite Astrobot, and out of one that has like 100 of them, that was my favorite.
Mine would have been the Kazuma Kiryu Astrobot.
He is very cool, and there is a trophy specifically associated with him. So that's pretty neat.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think I need to put that on my list.
Lara Croft one,
Another game
also
to
pretty
buy.
good.
Did they give her triangle boobs?
No, it's modern Lara Croft.
No.
All right.
Okay.
Next superlative, what we got? Most likely to be a millionaire. I'm giving this award to.
Let's say it at the same time.
Okay. 3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Balatro.
Okay. Well,
I think we saw this very differently.
we did. I think I know where you're going with it. Are you saying that the guy who made Balatro is going to be a millionaire by the end of this year?
A little bit of that, but also Balatro making me better at poker, and also me getting those high ass scores on Balatro. That's why I put Balatro on the list. But yours makes a lot of sense.
Yours makes a lot of sense as well. But yeah, I put Monster Hunter Wilds.
We're both right.
We're both right, and so happy and friends and love each other.
Yay! All right, relax.
Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm gonna spend a ton of time and money on this game. It's gonna be great. Capcom's gonna fucking make a mint on it, and then they're gonna go blow it on some like live service Mega Man game or something.
Monster Hunter now!
Get the Mr. Beast sword now!
It does a new element, Beast. And then they have to somehow put that into the next game.
I'm so
so
excited for Monster Hunter Wilds though. Only like one more month until it's out. I can't even believe it.
I know. I don't even think we're gonna have to come back to Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
Yeah, put it on the back burner.
Put it on the back burner. I mean, I love the way Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate plays. It's significant enough to not be like, oh, well, I never want to touch it. Like, it plays in a certain way, and it has a certain appeal to it that I think I won't forget about it. But, like, oh, man, Wilds, though.
Yeah, they're two very different Monster Hunters, but they're good at what they do, I hope. From what I've played of Wilds, it's good at what it does. Beta coming up. This game's going to make $1 million bajillion.
Gravios is back, apparently.
Woo.
I think it's funny how... I mean, I'm glad that they're having more monsters. Monster Hunter World didn't have that many original monsters, but now they have a lot of original monsters, like, already off the bat for Wilds. So I'm very excited. But, yeah, you're probably right about that. They're gonna... I wonder if it'll beat the world record.
Well, I think World is Capcom's best-selling game ever, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
So...
It is. So that's going to be a hefty accomplishment if they do that.
I think it will. No problem.
We'll just have to see.
Yeah, we'll
just
see.
have to see.
And next up is Best Smile. It's funny that you're talking about getting millions and millions of points in Balatro, because for Best Smile, I'm giving this award to when you get a lot of points in one hand in Balatro and the score catches on fire.
Yes, that is Best Smile.
That
when you're,
always makes me smile.
When the score lights on fire before you even play your canned, oh my god, better than sex.
The
score, I would know.
Let's relax. The score lighting on fire is the greatest use of technology in the modern era.
I agree.
And who is your Best Smile?
My Best Smile is Super Mario Sunshine.
What the fuck?
Just the whole game. It just makes me smile. It's one of those games where I just enjoy it. I just love playing it, even though that game sucks.
Yeah.
Mario Sunshine is bad. It is just so stupid. The levels are so short. The levels are not fun to play, but it's a biased review for me. I just enjoy it every time I play it. Except for the last time I played it, because I 100%ed it, and that was pretty miserable. But when you play through it casually, oh man, and you're just like playing to have fun, oh, you're in it. You're in it. You're in it. But that game sucks.
I can agree with that. It's a very happy game.
I just love the aesthetic. Yeah, it's such a happy game. I love the resort aesthetic. I love that type of vibe. I like how it's only on Isle Delfino, and it's like different locales on the island. No, like I'm in the ice world, I'm in the desert world. It's just you're just on different parts of the island, but they make sense. It's like, oh, here's like the port village, here's like the harbor, here's the hotel that everyone goes to, here's the beach. Like that's all the locales, and they're all different. Like that's cool. That's cool. Here's an amusement park. It's great.
Yeah. It's got the vibes, that's for sure. It just doesn't got the gameplay to back it up, I think.
No, it doesn't. But when I listen to that soundtrack, I think everything's going to be all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
All right, our last award of the night.
Last one.
Most likely to run off with the circus. Now, I didn't really know what we meant by this one, so I'm curious to see what you have. I never do. Yeah, I mean, we don't, but this one especially. What did you have?
I put down Everhood.
Okay.
Everhood is a really weird game. And it has no concern about just doing whatever the hell it wants. And that's why I say Everhood would be most likely to run away to the circus. Because it just does weird shit all the time. Even when it maybe shouldn't, even when it doesn't really make any sense, it will simply be weird. And you just have to take it. And you know what? It was worth it just for that. I suggest people be playing Everhood. Maybe not on hard mode, though. Maybe play it on normal. It also has the silly spinning seal song.
Playing it now.
You know that song? Yep, it has that song. And I was like, that's copyrighted. That's totally fucking copyrighted. Apparently it's not. Just in the game.
Yeah, it seems like a weird game from everything I've seen, but the way you're talking about it makes me think it's even weirder than I think it is.
It is really weird. I think that it really deserves its weird status. Undertale is not weird. Undertale's quirky. Everhood is weird. Everhood, something's amiss almost in Everhood. It's just strange.
Exciting. That is pretty high on my list, so I want to play it.
What was yours?
My most likely to run off the circus is Nightmare Kart, which is Bloodborne Kart that they released in 2024.
Oh, the Bloodborne Kart. I forgot about that.
Right, because it's just
it was released as a full thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, because they got shut down by Sony, so they were like, well, if we're going to be making it kind of our own thing anyway, we might as well go all in. So they released it on Steam and everything, and it is Bloodborne Kart. We can put it that way.
It's very impressive. I've seen a full playthrough of it. It's very impressive.
It is very impressive. I can only imagine how much time and effort went in. I always forget the developer's name, so I'm sorry, but to be honest with you, I think the game's it's bad, but it's not good. But it is the effort that went into it that counts, I think, and you don't always have to feel that way about games. You can judge a game from what it is, not what you want it to be. This is one of those cases where I think you gotta give it to them.
It's free and it's a joke.
It's free and it's a joke.
It's surprising that they even did this much.
But it has so much work put into it. And not only that, the reason I have it as most likely to run off with the circus is that it's a weird idea because, okay, it's Bloodborne, and it's Mario Kart, and it's for some reason on the PS1, and it's like MSX almost, but PS1, and for some reason, it's F-Zero as well. It's not really that much of Mario Kart, and for some reason it's a real game, and for some reason we went so hard on the music. None of the things that are in this game had to be in this game, but they are.
You're just selling me on it more.
I mean, it's fantastic presentation. Just playing it didn't really work.
I'm thinking about Mikolash.
Oh my god, and he runs. And that's the thing, we're putting boss fights with health bars in our kart racer. I am very excited to see what this developer does next, because I imagine this isn't the only game they've worked on, but it's probably a passion project or whatnot. So they kind of showed me that they got the stuff as long as they can get a little bit more polish on the gameplay. I think this is a very talented team or individual.
It might just be one guy. I don't know.
I think it is one person, but either way, weird ass game, and it is very funny to watch.
Yes, I don't think I'll ever laugh as hard as I did when I saw Mikalash start running.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe it. I think it's worth it for the joke alone.
It is. It really is. The whole game is worth playing for a joke alone. Just like the Bloodborne remake that I believe is the same person. Also worth it just to look at it. Just
to understand it, yes.
Yeah. And that's going to close our yearbook, I think.
Wow. This was... I don't think this was as good as a year as last year for games for me.
No.
But it was pretty good. It was all right.
It was a good year for games. Think of all the games that we didn't get around to. I'm thinking
we didn't fucking play anything.
Right?
What's wrong with us?
I don't know. I'm thinking the fact that I never played Metaphor, I never played Unicorn Overlord, I never played Prince of Persia.
Oh, Unicorn Overlord! I have Unicorn Overlord. I didn't fucking play it.
I really want to play that
nightmare.
Prince of Persia game. I really want to play the new Mario Party. There's a lot of games I never got to, and maybe I think that'll just kind of like flood into 2025, so maybe we can.
Oh no!
Next
then we're gonna have the same problem next year.
I know, but I mean 2025 doesn't have that many games coming out. I say.
Yeah, yet.
I say as an ignorant fool. The Switch 2.
The Switch 2 just got announced like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
They're gonna release a new Mario Kart.
Whew, man. But we'll be back again next year for the games of the year 2025, and we'll be back again hopefully soon for a new episode of the podcast. It's been a little inconsistent lately, mainly due to life things. You know, Jonathan's been moving. I've had a lot of stuff going on with work. But I think we're settling back into a routine, so new episode coming soon.
Get excited. I almost said shit.
I
almost said shit excited.
Shit excited, everyone.
Shit excited, baby.
All right, and that's been 2024. Let's close the book and look to the future.
Woo!
All right, everyone. We will see ya.